Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Iron Seas. Today we will be discussing the 2010 film Johann Hex. Just kidding. But I am joined today by my co-host A.C Pritchard. And
How's it
then,
going?
of course, Jarrod, or Jarrod, as some people call him, Christman. Woo! And then, our beloved guest,
a woman of high dignity and class, to join us on this prestigious podcast. Hello, yes. The legendary BAMBO!
So I wouldn't call that much high class at all.
Oh, tremendously high class. No one can afford a boa of this quality. Now. How the heck is everybody doing? We'll start with Jarrod. How are you doing, my friend?
Oh, dude, I'm good. I'm kind of fried mentally just because of this. I'm on week 2 of a pretty intense jury trial case that I got selected for jury duty.
Ooh.
And so
you'll need to tell us about that when it's over.
Yeah, when it's over and I can tell you about it. Oh, it's wild. Like it's kind of cool because like I'm getting to see like some nitty-gritty nuts and bolts stuff that are either affirming or informing a lot of the script for the new film. So that's been cool, but mostly it's just draining.
Yeah, but a bad case will tend to do that to you. BAMBO, my friend, how are you doing? How have you been doing recently?
My dinghy is full of water, but it's still floating barely. Let's put it that way.
That's perfect. At least you have a boat.
Yeah, and
I'm Hawaiian.
my bucket that I'm bailing with has a hole in it, but I'm still here.
Yeah, so you're just cosplaying Jack Sparrow in the beginning of the first film.
Pretty much, yeah. And hoping that I will make it close enough to that docking point.
Just get on the top mast as the ship goes down. That's the way we do it. All right, AC, my friend, how are you doing, brother? You got a new computer? You're looking better than ever. What's going on?
Bro, I'm doing good. Been working hard, knocked out a few chapters from my novel editing this week, and I was just working on a brand new song before the show as well. And among other things, there may be another comic in the works, perhaps, but we'll see how that goes. But while we're here, don't forget to follow all the stuff from the Linktrees everywhere, my band, the podcast, on
many
Substack.
such cases, many links to click.
Yes. But yeah,
now
how about you, Kahuna? Are you doing good?
Mostly my hand is messed up. All the skin peeled on my hand because I got water in my gloves while I was working one day, and then it peeled, and the scabs formed, and then they ripped off, and now I just have sensitive pink skin on my hands.
You got trench foot on your hand.
I know, dude. It sucks. It hurts.
Sucks.
Like fingertips. It's all nerve. I don't like it. Now that I'm done, we're going to get into Johann Hex, my favorite and first weird Western. Maybe not the first one I've seen, but I had never seen this film before, and it's really strange. It's like it's young Josh Brolin. It's prime age Megan Fox, for whatever that's worth. And
I wouldn't call that young Josh Brolin. You want a young Josh Brolin? Go back
Goonies.
And grab the not just the Goonies, the '90s Young Writers TV series.
Yep.
He played Wild Bill Hickok.
Oh wow. Man, I do need to go see that. Like, I guess it's because most of the things I've seen him in are like older, like grizzly.
That was a good TV series, Young Guns.
Yeah.
So
young writers.
Young Writers. Yeah.
There we go.
I liked it in the '90s when I was a teenager. I don't know if I would like it now.
Oh yes,
back in the
'90s when we were all teenagers. That's my favorite era. Definitely not.
There's some shows that I watched at that era that I loved as a kid, and I look back now and go, "What was wrong with me?"
No, I think that's everybody. We all have music or shows and things we watch, and then you go back, you're like, Sometimes it's like, man, I was young. I didn't know what I was talking about. Sometimes you go back and you're like, I was a god. I always had great opinions.
Yeah.
You want to
Yeah.
know what's cool? Like I grew up like Airwolf. Airwolf was a show that I watched a lot as a kid. Like when in the seasons when we could afford TV, it's like I watched Airwolf because there's a lot of times when we didn't have TV. But I remember Airwolf, and I remember it's like, man, Airwolf's so cool. And I watched it maybe 5 or 6 years ago when it landed on streaming. And I was watching, is like, holy crap, like there's a lot of this that still holds up. Like some of the like cinematography and the production quality is like, man, they had, and so I start thinking as a filmmaker, it's like, what kind of budget were they doing per episode on this? Because this looks so good, and then you compare it to some like more recent or TV shows. It's like this show was phenomenally better from a production standpoint than almost anything on TV right now. Just in video quality or like film quality, cinematography is way better than it is with modern TV.
There's one that I had like when I was the late 80s, early 90s, and I'm talking I was middle school. There was the old Family Channel that used to be on the air, and they did the New World Zorro, and they did a show called Border Town, this half-hour western.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
I went and bought the DVD series, rewatched it here not too long ago, and I'm looking at this and going, the writing was so good for that Border Town TV series. I couldn't help but wondering how much better that story could have been if they had been given that full hour time slot instead of that 30-minute. Because a 30-minute TV show was what, 20 minutes actual film time?
Yeah, 20 to 22 minutes is typical.
Your whole entire story in that 22 minutes, and they did a fantastic job without having to carry over from season to season. So,
you know, one thing I don't miss about old television for everybody here. Remember how television used to have to time the scenes so that they could put like 4 ad breaks?
Commercial break, yep.
And now you don't have to put up with that. Not like watching one of those shows now, like on DVD or like on a streaming service. There's obviously no commercials, so there's just these awkward fadeaways and pauses all throughout.
Yeah, but nowadays, thanks to stupid ads being added to everything on YouTube and stuff, now you get ad breaks in the worst places.
Like we're in the middle of a line of dialogue.
Yeah, I go, just if you're going to put an ad in there, why don't you just follow if it's something that's already got ad breaks in it, just follow the old ad breaks. Don't.
Which is weird too, because when I had to program those in specifically when I sent my film to distribution, where exactly there's like I had to allow for 12 breaks, and I got to say when those happen, give a time.
That helps. That helps.
And so like to see the low effort that goes into some of these, where somebody's just like 3 minutes and 35 seconds, that's probably be fine. And like, because I went through the film and it's like, okay, if I have to do it, because there's parameters, like you have to do one within the first 8 minutes, and then like a series of them you have to do, and they're relative. It has to be around these points. So I went through the whole film. It's like, okay, if we break here, it's not going to mess anything up dialogue wise. And then you see these big companies that can afford to pay somebody to do that, and they just half-ass it with like just random timestamps in there.
Oh yeah, no, YouTube's the worst about it. And so like whatever's going on with their algorithm, they messed up. I don't own a dog, and they've been sending me nothing but dog food commercials from like 3 different companies for about 2 or 3 weeks now. I have a whole rant planned about this because this is ridiculous at this one. I'm going to yell at my phone until they figure out I don't own a dog. That's my plan. But inevitably, they'll just hear the word dog and be like, well, he likes dogs, so we're just going to keep sending him these commercials. Oh, man. I love a broken algorithm. Thank you, YouTube, for never being consistent. Now, here we are.
Yes.
And so Bambo, she writes a lot of short fiction. You've been in published in 3 different anthologies or magazines.
Three that are currently out, and 2 that are coming. I don't know when one of them's going to be published. It's whenever Three Ravens finally gets it through. I don't know where they're at in their queue. And then the other one is coming out, I'm thinking close to the end of this year, first of next year. I haven't heard exactly on that one yet either. I've been told it's coming along.
Hell yeah. But no, that's fantastic. I was talking to your hubby about that a while back. He's like, yeah, no, she's gotten published at a whole bunch of people. And I actually haven't read your writing before, so I'd be very curious to read some of your writing.
Yeah, well, it's too weird. The first 2 were Weird West. The third one that was published was a Sword and Sorcery, good old classic Conan the Barbarian style sword and sorcery story.
That touches me.
Yeah, so picture a Mongolian on the Turkish plains who is chasing down snake men. And has
Sick.
to
I like
deal.
it.
That's what they call me.
Well,
You had me
In a
on.
few hours, you'll be sitting around a campfire with Andy making delicious hot schmoes.
Yes. The schmoes.
Fourth one that's coming out for Three Ravens is sort of Roman Britain with a supernatural twist to it.
I'm down for that. If anyone needs something supernatural to happen right now, it is Great Britain.
Yeah, so
Sure.
kind of Romanesque style gladiator fight to the death to try to save his soul, fighting for a druidess goddess.
Outside of the last part, that basically happened the first day I was in high school. The most brutal high school fight I ever saw at a high school was 2 girls the first day I went to high school.
Mhm.
It like ripped out earrings, bleeding, like ripped open earlobes, like bloody face claws and ripped clothing. It was great. It was a great.
I can believe it. Girls fight dirty. Girls
Yeah.
fight dirty.
Well, like they don't like guys kind of have like this unspoken kind of expectations. Like it's levels of escalation. It's like, okay, we'll do fisticuffs here, but like if you grab a chair, that's an escalation. Girls, they just go straight to the like as
Straight to the
escalated as they can
escalation.
go.
I think, and maybe girls have claws. I think that
They
has,
do.
and they do not. The girls don't punch with a closed fist. They go for the claws. So
Oh wait, real quick, quick test. Everybody on the panel, do it in frame of the camera. Look at your nails. Quick test. Oh, Jared,
What?
you guys see him? He just went. There we go. It's like it's this old. It's dumb. It's this old test that we did in football. It's basically like, oh, we're gonna see how fruity this guy is. If he goes like this, he's a guy. If he's like, yes. Like,
I have no idea. I have no context for this. Like, what do we do? What are we talking about?
like that, like guy. It's like the idea is that guys look at their nails like this, like, ooh, like what's under my nails, and a woman is always admiring her nails, so she goes like this. Yes.
Well, I did just cut them. So
Yes.
They are worthy. The French tips really sell it. Now, today, ladies and gentlemen, the movie that Bambo chose to watch in honor of her writing tradition in Weird West was Johann Hex, or Jonah Hex. And that's based off of an old comic, if I'm not mistaken. Was it a Dark Horse comic or Image comic? I'm trying to remember.
DC. Yeah.
you see,
DC
Okay, it
Dark
was
Horse.
DC for sure.
it tells you at the beginning of the movie. Did you not watch the intro?
Bruh.
I didn't read. I'm watching them. I watch anime. I have to read all the time. I'd rather not read when I'm watching
It
something.
was
in
done.
English.
They had the nice little DC, the old early teens DC logo with the page flipping and all the DC characters showing up. It was right there at the beginning.
I know what happened. I played it and then I went to get my coffee. Then I came back. I figured I didn't miss anything. I guess I was wrong. But yeah, like this is the kind of movie that I think Evaleighmusic would have really liked this film. Actually,
Mhm.
believe it or not, in some ways, he likes short films. He likes punchy films, and this film was short and punchy. And I have a lot of other opinions about it. But what was your guys'
Yeah, I got opinions.
opinions? We'll start with you, Jarrod. Overall view of this movie so far.
For me?
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
This movie sucks, dude. So bad. Like it's just like what so my beefs with this film in order, I suppose, in some sort of order. Number one is just the lack of commitment. Like either commit to being a Western or commit to being commit to being a dark movie, commit to being a comedy movie. Like there was just no commitment anyway. They was trying to they were trying to walk, like ride the fence between so many different things that everything they did sucked. It's like it failed as a Western, it failed as a sci-fi, it failed as a comic book movie because it didn't lean into anything. And like there was and it's like and then they'd like, if they had shot this, I feel like this film would have done really good, especially given the films that it came out against in 2010. Like it would have done much better if they had shot this as a rated R, like a rated R,
a hard R.
dark film with, and like leaned into the horror element,
especially in
the
2010. That
Yeah.
would have hit way different.
Yeah.
I will say that like that era was not great for westerns. It was not
No.
it was not a good time for
No.
westerns.
Some people.
There hasn't been. It's been a long time since there's been some.
But
good
it was like
westerns.
stacked up against Toy Story 3, Prince of Persia, and another movie came
Guys,
out.
the chat is turning on me.
Yeah.
Why is Kahuna looking at the fruity guy?
He's the
at the
cowboy. Usually Jared's the cowboy, but tonight.
He loves semen, that man. He was always going to the Navy bars. Loves semen. Anyway,
But, some people theorize that the original script was supposed to be like rated R, and I mean it just kind of now is known that it's like disjointed and incoherent. Some people say.
Yeah. Yeah, the edit is so like, to continue with what I was like, the order of things, like the editing was pretty rough in this film. But one of the, as a musician, the thing that really stuck in my craw was a horrible soundtrack, because it's like and again, it was like this lack of commitment. You either commit to an orchestral soundtrack and you do it right, or you commit to like this modern rock soundtrack and you do it right. But they half-assed both of those too.
They did both
like,
poorly.
Yeah, and like all of that like terrible, like that terrible, like overcompressed, like floppy string detuned bass riffing in there, like to help they're trying to build tension with. It just sucked. Like it absolutely sucked. And like that drove me nuts. Michael Fassbender was the only
He's a
part of
good
the whole film.
He's a good actor, but like he was really this is a hard movie to do.
Because I think it's like it was like he's the only one having fun. Like everybody seemed miserable in the film.
Yeah.
And
Also,
like,
is Michael Fassbender, is he Irish?
Might be.
I think
I've never seen him do Irish before in a film.
Might be.
I suspect he might. Well, he might be. I always thought he was kind of like Northern English. Maybe I'm wrong though.
I always took him for a Scot.
no,
Well, if you go
think he
north
may-
enough, that is Scott. But yeah,
yeah, not too sure. So, and then like casting wise, like you can't cast Will Arnett in anything and it'd be taken seriously. You just can't. Like he is not a serious actor. Like he's a comedic actor. And so you cast it and then to only have him like his like
him. Sorry, it took me. He was straight laced the whole film. Yeah,
and he's useless. Like he's useless. Like he shows up once and then you'll see him again for like 45 minutes. It's like,
and then he gets
and
shot.
like,
That's
and
it.
then both times he's trying to be this like hard ass Union officer. It's like, no,
they had his
man.
name listed on the credits as this big, and starring.
Yeah.
How long was he in there?
Oh, like
it's not
minutes.
like in a competent film, a comedic actor can be a great asset, like Vince Vaughn in Hacksaw Ridge. Great example of he was even in that he was still funny.
Yeah,
but he wasn't a comedic character
right.
in that way. He was playing a serious part. It's just he's naturally funny, and a drill sergeant yelling at people will never not be funny to me.
You guys bring up a good point that the cast really is packed and star-studded. This is like a loaded cast.
Oh, dude,
what a home run!
Even with the cameos, they had some great cameos in there.
And Brolin cut his teeth in westerns, really, and you still missed it. You still dropped
Yeah.
it.
He was a
Oh,
perfect
no.
Jonah Hex. Too.
Yeah,
I think
Oh,
Brolin
yeah.
did like he wasn't a weakness in this.
yeah.
This film, like everything wrong with this film, comes down to direction, tone,
Writing,
like all the
writing,
back.
absolutely. The writing was
writing-
awful.
I've never read the
can
comics,
go
so I don't
through
know
it,
how
but yeah.
how close to the
Yeah.
comics they tried to
Well,
get.
and the director, like this was his first live action film. Like I
I
think the
bet.
only thing the
Oh,
only thing he did
shit.
before this was
Oh.
Horton Hears a Who.
The Nickelback soundtrack.
That would do it. You know, Brolin,
Ugh.
not to jump the gun a little bit, but like Brolin in interviews right after the movie bombed hard, he was going around in interviews talking about how the director was like partying the whole time. Like
Yeah.
he didn't take it seriously and shit. And then he walked that back later, but I believe him.
Hollywood execs not taking their job very seriously because they're too
Weird.
lost in
And if
the
it's his
sauce.
and if it's his first, I could just see this guy being like, just dump all the footage onto the editing team and be like, how much
Yeah.
money do you want? Do it and whatever, you know.
Yep.
Ugh,
Yeah.
what a nightmare, dude.
Yeah, even Malkovich, he's a really good actor, and
Yeah.
he kind of just was there in this movie. He's a great antagonist, and they did not utilize him as well as he could have been used.
No.
Megan Fox is always as useless as a
Yeah.
wooden plank, but she's a very
Well,
nice wood. She's
she's
a
very useless in
tremendous
this
looking
movie.
wooden plank. My favorite wood plank. If I had to bang a nail into anyway, we're
Way crazier these days.
Her
Yeah, before
character
her-
had absolutely no value to this movie. It's like they threw her in because they had to have a chick in there somewhere.
Yeah.
That's really how it felt.
Yeah. Hey, who can we get
also
to play a horror?
she looked more like a native. She looked more native than the native woman they had play Jonah's wife.
Yeah.
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 Like, why does
And it
Megan
did
Fox look
fix it.
more native?
And so Brolin's prosthetics was another thing. Another place
That
where
was
I think
pretty impressive. Yeah.
no, I disagree. It was again a lack of commitment. I think it was a lack of commitment. Like the teeth were good, but like it stopped here. And Jonah Hex is like whole face, it's like Two-Face almost. Like his whole face
Okay,
is
so
wrecked.
you thought it
And,
should have
like,
been more.
Yeah, especially like when you look at Gary Oldman in Red Dragon. Like that's committing to a prosthetic.
Yeah.
Like that whole
Yeah.
dude's like they had his eye pulled up and his mouth pushed in. Like they
Like-
warped his entire face.
It's kind of unfair to compare to like a modern Nolan film, but like look at Two-Face. He looked incredible.
Yeah.
When he was all effed up.
Yeah.
Well, even
Like I know it's mostly CGI, but it looked real.
even Skarsgård on Nosferatu last week,
Yep.
right? That took hours
Oh,
of prosthetics.
Yeah.
Hell, weird
But again, like,
example,
it's like-
but Jim
it's like
Carrey as the Grinch, hours.
Yeah.
Full commitment.
But it's like that lack of commitment. Like they didn't want to commit. They're trying to make this like they're trying to make a bubble gum PG-13 popcorn film instead of committing to it. Like make it horrible. And like, can you imagine if they had leaned into the horror part of this and like, especially like if you're going to give Jonah Hex superpowers, which he never had as an original character. He didn't have all those like, I can talk to the dead and that kind of stuff. Superpowers. Like he was just a really good shot. So,
Oh, that
you
was
take-
it? Really?
yeah, like he didn't have as far as I can recall, I don't think Jonah Hex had superpowers of his own. But if you're going to give him superpowers and you lean into that horror element and then you really distort his face, can you imagine what you would have gotten out of Brolin from that? It would have been awesome.
Mhm.
Like it maybe it doesn't do so good in the box office, but I guarantee you it would have had a ravenous cult following.
I think this film, if directed by a competent director, that either if it was a director who either went more comedic or more dark, like you said, I think imagine you know who I think would Tarantino. He could have directed the
Dude, because he understands
Tarantino could have-
Westerns, too.
Yeah, I agree. I
like
agree.
the
He
jump
did that.
cuts, the funky soundtrack, like all the elements
That
could have
could've
still
been
worked
dope.
if he did it.
Yeah. I want to see that now, dude.
Yeah.
I wanna
Tarantino's
see
got
that
one
too.
more movie.
Oh man, I don't want him to stop making movies.
Oh boy.
And of course, we will have to admit that when this was being made, they weren't letting superhero movies really be rated R yet. This is before Deadpool, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure
Deadpool's
this was
after-
2016.
But it was after Blade.
Also
Blade was
true.
the exception. It didn't
Yeah.
change the
Also true.
landscape in that way yet.
Yeah.
A lot of
Not like-
films
not
are
like
still
Deadpool.
hesitant to go for the for the R rating.
Actually, but look at how well Blade held up in physical media sales, like,
You know what?
and with a huge cult
Yeah.
following.
Yeah, to the point where they're talking of remaking Blade. I hope
Leave
they
it
don't.
alone.
Oh no, they're talking remaking it.
Well, they've been trying to write a script for 6 years now.
Yeah, just like they finally got around to remaking The Crow, which just did not need to be remade.
Yeah,
Well,
I can't even blame the actors on that one. Like, The Crow did not need to be like The Crow is such a movie of its of that particular moment in time. There was no reason.
The-
There's only one Crow movie.
I risk igniting the ire of writer Michael LaVoice, who he's got his own YouTube channel as well. If you look him up, Michael LaVoice, he calls the voice in his head. He's a sci-fi writer, and he and I have a bit of a slight disagreement when it comes to the Highlander reboot coming up. Whether or not, because he's of the opinion that the first movie was it. There should have been nothing else. They should have stopped right there. We don't need any more Highlander. I came up with the TV series, and so I'm a little more flexible on that, but I do admit that every movie after the original sucked. So to me, it's the movie, the TV series. The rest of the movies were trash. So I wouldn't mind seeing Highlander, but in today's age, with the way they ruin everything they touch,
I have a weird opinion about this one.
Yeah.
I don't think the original Highlander, cue for rejection, it was not very good. See, dude,
You shut
Aaron, you
your
were-
whore mouth.
you were not a captain when we talked about Highlander.
I watched that episode though. It was funny.
Oh,
yeah,
dude.
I will say though that I did not watch Highlander for Connor or Duncan MacLeod. I watched it for Mythos and Joe
Yep.
Dawson, but Mythos absolutely.
Yeah,
Which is why that's why the TV series has a special place in my heart. I could care less about the Highlander. I want the old man.
like not even a Queen soundtrack could save that original. So with my deal, if a movie's not very good, that's a perfect film to redo.
Mhm.
Like if the new film's not very good, then you didn't
It's
harm
just-
anything.
It's the problem of is, I mean, I appreciate that it's got Henry Cavill, who's a major fan, trying to make it, but it seems like he doesn't have he's tried his best to salvage film after film after TV series after franchise after franchise that he's loved. He's tried to salvage them, but modern day Hollywood is a hard beast to slay. And
That dude needs to
succeed
fire
with.
his agent, man.
Yeah, well, like look what's happening to like The Witcher now that they basically
God.
drove.
Well,
him
they killed
away.
The Witcher even when he was in it. That's the
Yeah.
reason why he left, was because they killed. I've never played the games. I have watched clips of the TV series, and I sit there and I kind of mourn because I'm looking at the clips and going, "This is a series I probably could have enjoyed, but I
Mhm.
will not go and even start watching it because I know where it's headed and I've already heard the warnings. So there's no point in getting invested in it."
Actually, I didn't even make it all the way through the third episode.
Mhm.
I was like halfway through the third episode. Like, I'm out. This sucks.
Read the books. The books are amazing.
No,
But the thing- so
here's
here's my take on Henry Cavill though. It's like Hollywood does not deserve Henry Cavill.
No,
No.
I
They
totally agree
don't.
with you.
They don't deserve him. He's too good for them, and they have treated him terrible since who knows when. And that just it bums me out, man.
Yeah.
Have you guys watched the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare yet?
I have not.
Man
You got to
from
watch
Uncle?
that movie.
Wait,
No.
I haven't seen
Ministry of Ungentlemanly
it.
Warfare.
Yeah, that's about that World War II group. Yeah,
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Yeah,
MD and I would see that in theaters. I loved that movie. It was hilarious. It leaned right into the camp. It did not try to be this serious war film, and it was great. It's another one of those movies that it was really a shame that it didn't do better than it did because it was
it was
good
marketed
movie.
terribly.
Well, yeah,
It was
it was
very
marketed as
poorly
having
marketed.
a girl boss. She was not a girl boss.
It was
just
marketed as
meant to
being a
be-
straight comedy, and
Yeah.
I can't.
It wasn't a
I-
straight comedy either, but it was just
Yeah.
a good, fun action film. It was a blast, and it's a shame that it did not do
Yeah.
as well as it did. But it seems like anything he touches, somebody's going to crash somewhere.
Well, like, did you guys know about his early career? Like, obviously, he was in some stuff when he was a kid, and then he had his first big-ish role was as the son of Edmond Dantes in the
Count of Monte
Count of
Cristo.
Monte Cristo. People forget about that. But
Mhm.
then he was almost like he was the number 2 choice for 6 or 7 films in a row. He was almost in the he was almost in the Nolan Batman trilogy as Batman. He was almost in the. He's almost what's his face. James Bond in the Casino
Oh,
Royale.
No, he would have worked for that one.
And
That
like
was
3 or
really good
4
James
other
Bond, dude.
big roles like that, he was right there and he just didn't get it. So then he came out in 2013 as Superman, and that was a great casting for a poorly.
Very poor movie. Yes, exactly. He was fantastic as Superman.
Yes, he
The
was.
script sucked.
Like
script was
and Man of Steel is
terrible.
maybe the best film from the Snyderverse. Like, honestly, and that like
So I haven't watched
it's
any of
such a
the
shame. It's
Snyderverse
like
movies. So
I watched those. I'm like, Henry Cavill is more like Superman off screen than you're letting him be on screen. This is bullshit.
Yeah.
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 I haven't watched any of the other ones. Like I said, I'm a Batman fan, but I'm not a big fan of most of the. I said I saw The Dark Knight. That's about as far as I went with that series. I still say you can't beat the animated series. I grew up watching the animated series in its original
It's
prime
hard to
run.
That is the standard. That
That's
is
the standard. You can't beat
Yeah.
that.
All right, now that we're done jerking off Henry Cavill,
Poor
let's
poor
get back.
guy.
Let's
Back to
get
Jonah. That's,
Yeah,
how,
let's
that's,
get
how,
back to
that's how
Jonah.
bad Jonah Hex is.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
We're talking about an actor who never appeared in the film. What? How about this? Let's talk about good things about the film. not
Well, how
just
about the
bad
number
things.
of cameos that showed up? How if we, I
There were
started to sit there. I was
tons.
pulling
They
up the
were everywhere.
IMDb list just to see.
It's
I know that
huge.
face. Oh, that's Tom Wopat. Oh, that's the guy from my
True
brain's
Lies.
dead.
No, I don't know.
No, this the guy from the Keanu Reeves action flick, John Wick. Yeah, this is the black guy from John Wick from the hotel.
Oh yeah,
Sturge. He
that's
was in it.
how I remembered him too. Yeah.
Yeah, he was in it. Jeffrey Dean Morgan was in it. Did you
Yep.
catch his appearance? He was in it, uncredited. I mean, just
That-
my opinion of the
that
movie.
felt so awkward. It was like
Yeah.
the Civil War just ended. We need black families. Yes, you. That's how that felt.
Yeah, I looked at it as IMDb gave the rating of the movie a 4.7 out of 5, and I'm going. It probably is about a 4. Script wise, it should be about a 2. You've got just enough acting skills and the cameos actors who were able to pull it up, but like I said, some of the actors were just phoning it in. Malkovich was just phoning it in. And
It's just
I
a
think you
shame
coulda-
because he's a hell of a bad guy when he wants to be.
Yeah, I think Megan Fox, you could have got more out of a cardboard cutout of her than you did the actual actress herself.
Tremendous cardboard.
And even Wesley, what is his name? He's later played Jamie in Yellowstone. That's where he's famous.
Wes
at.
Bentley.
Wes
Oh,
Bentley.
that's right. Yeah.
His wasn't. You could tell he was young. This wasn't his greatest acting job either.
Yeah. No,
But yeah.
I agree.
Yeah,
It's
I
ra- it-
agree. It's
Rotten
it's
Tomatoes
not the
actually
greatest.
had this correct. 12% from critics and 36% from audiences.
Yeah, it's not a movie that I'm sitting here going, I wish I got those 2 hours of my life back. At least it's not that bad, but it's definitely not a movie I would actually ever go seek out to watch again.
My grandma initially sat down to watch this film with me, which is hilarious.
That is.
I'm like, Grandma, I don't know if you're going to like it. She's like, well, we'll see. I'm like, I'm telling you, you're not going to like this movie.
Grandma loved it.
My grandma, she's mysterious. She's the she doesn't like crude humor in films, but then she introduced me to a bunch of the crudest humor old films I've ever seen, and she loves all of those. Like Bowfinger, like A Fish Called Wanda, Robin Hood Men in Tights, like all these old films. Like, you're really
That's that's adorable. You call those
Yeah.
old films.
Yeah, because I'm
That's
going,
adorable.
I remember when Robin Hood Men in Tights was in theaters.
these ancient films for a long time before I wasn't born yet, so let's keep that in mind.
Oh, that's cute.
Yes, I'm a lot older than I look, apparently.
I described The Lost Boys as an old film when I saw that. Best 80s vampire film, not even close. Interview with the what? No, The Lost Boys, the best vampire film.
Though I guess a lot of my favorite stuff is getting old, so
Yeah.
I
Interview
am
was like
getting old.
94 anyway.
I'm sorry, Jonah Hex is not accurate to the source material, guys.
I knew it.
Hate to
I
bring
knew
up
it.
another negative, but they just keep piling up. There's
Yeah.
so many.
Is this going to be the easiest sink of all time?
Probably.
Many holes in this boat.
Remember, this is the part where we're supposed to be talking about good things about the movie.
And it saddens me
Yeah.
because this kind of brings out a thing that I'm running into with trying to write Weird West is it's a genre that I enjoy, but one, it seems like Weird West these days either has to be sci-fi Weird West or horrors or Weird West. Everything has to be sci-fi or horror. So you've either and it seems like every time they try to do something with that genre, which could be a fun genre to play with, they screw it up. And this is just the latest example of something they screwed it up with. How they screwed it up.
Bone Tomahawk got it right.
I want to see it. I have not seen it.
Bone
seen it.
Tomahawk got horror western right, and it is actually horrible.
Yeah, but see, I don't want horror western. I want fantasy western, and that doesn't even exist. I'm going to have to create that. I'm going to have to create that genre myself wholesale.
Oh man,
No.
it exists. It exists, and I'm sure it's good as hell, man. And you know what? That's the thing is like some of these gem genres, like Weird West, which encapsulates sci-fi West.
They've been
and,
They've been treated like a $5 hooker.
Yeah.
I recently found out, I'm epic horror fantasy.
Mhm.
It's not just dark fantasy. It's like straight up. Not profane because like I'm not like sexual and I'm actually even poetic with the descriptions, but like horror is actually a good way to describe it where it's not degenerate. But like these in between genres, they need good representation.
And it's funny because it seems like flavors of weird, and there's a lot of different categories that Weird West kind of falls under. You've got your sci-fi Weird West. You've got there is actually a book out by a guy named Johnny B. Truant of a cowboy riding a unicorn. Go look it up. It's out there.
Awesome.
It
He's
does
just
exist.
sitting there polishing his horn.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
does
saying.
exist.
Yeah.
I have not read the book, but I know it's out there because I saw the cover. But it seems like these genres, like Weird West it's been around since the 30s. Actually, the very first Weird West story was a sci-fi western with one of those old-time black and white guys, and I can't remember what his name is. I'll let my husband look it up. He'll tell you.
Michael Jackson.
No, we're talking 1930s.
He was black and white.
There was a Weird Western back in the 1930s. One of the singing cowboys did it. And
wait.
yeah, it was aliens attacking the Weird West. And then if you go through and you look, it's a genre that's been bubbling under the surface, and they've been kind of twisting it different ways. But then Deadlands came along. I think that's kind of what locked it in. When Deadlands came along, it locked Weird West into horror. And it's really hard to get away from that vibe. If you want to do Weird West and you try to like getting into a short story anthology, they want horror. And I go, I don't want to write horror, but I did it. I did it, but I didn't want to.
I think part of the reason why part of it is because like Western sci-fi or sci-fi Western doesn't translate to film. Like it's just visually it is so jarring for people. Like it's easier in a book.
Cowboys and Aliens, anybody?
Yeah. Well, I think
Wild West.
You did have one majorly successful Western sci-fi that did work, and that was Firefly.
That was a Western in space, though. That's different.
Yeah, but no, that's still considered. That is still considered.
Okay,
I'll
take
Weird West.
it.
That's still considered it. Still considered in that genre.
See, and so personally, that's a stretch, man. It's like because like
it's right on the edge.
Western, like if you're talking about a Western film, there's an archetype. There's an archetype that Western audiences know, and like anything outside of that, they're not going to count it as a Western. And then when you add something that cannot fit into the visual aesthetic of a Western, then like it's just never going to work. So it's like I remember
it's like Western has its tropes because the way movies portray the West typically is a fantasy. it's almost like its own subgenre of fantasy because of how it's depicted. And so,
Yeah, it's just
yeah,
we're at a day and age where everybody's so tired of the same old tropes. I mean, they want to see something new and they want to see something a little different. And so it seems like the room is there, but right now we're in this period where everybody wants to lock themselves into the genres, and you got to be in this particular genre. And it's even getting the indies. I've noticed even the indie writers who say that they want to break out and be different and explore places that trad pub won't let them explore. In many ways, they're getting shoved into the same boxes themselves, because if they try to go different, then they can't. It's hard. I mean, you got to market yourself. Where do you find the art? I've done this with my husband with his Dream Nebula series. No, MD Boncher's Dream Nebula series. You set up and you tell people it's sci-fi. Well, you say sci-fi. Well, they automatically expect Star Wars, Star Trek. You're out in outer space. You're out planets. So we tell them, no, you're not going from planet to planet. It's atmosphere everywhere. You don't have spaceships. You're not doing light speed. You're not intergalactic, and they can't fathom that. The readers can't fathom that, and it makes it a kind of a hard sell. Now once I get people to read it, they really enjoy it, but they have.
Your husband's sci-fi books are very enjoyable to read. It does take a second to wrap your head around conceptually what's going on in those stories.
But that's why I think Western with sci-fi translates to book and comic book, but not to film. Because, and you also got to think about it too, is like in America we have an unbelievably rich film history of Westerns. Like we've been making Westerns since we've been making films. And so
there were over 600 spaghetti Westerns made in 4 years. And a lot of them were marketed over here. It's
after we had Western Week, that term makes me laugh every time now. Spaghetti Western, because they're Italian.
Yeah.
and they filmed it in Spain.
Yeah. But those are after, like, we'd already been filming Westerns for 30 years in Hollywood. And then, so it's like there is like, it's in the cultural DNA of what a Western is, the elements in a Western, what a Western needs to look like. And I think that's a big reason why sci-fi in a Western flops, but horror in a Western works, because there are things there are easier things horror is more elemental, so it's easy to incorporate that into the visual without upsetting the visual medium. And I think like one thing like we tossed around the idea with Missouri Bill is if we ever got to do anything else with that story, like a continuation of that story, the Oracle character is where we kick it all off, because we left it alone in this film, but the Oracle is, I mean, he comes and goes. He just appears randomly in the film, watching the main character. And like, because he's not attached to the reality. And so like, we thought like, if we were to ever move forward in that world, the Oracle would be the vehicle we do that with, and lean into this spiritual, this sort of like dark spirituality around the Oracle and his role in the West, and like bring in those elements and not as much horror, but like more like not like slasher horror or like spooky horror, but like spiritual horror, and add that into Missouri Bill.
That's cool,
because it works. Like it fits the aesthetic. It fits the aesthetic, and there's an element of mystery around that works in the Old West.
And the Old West is interesting because it's bringing the modern world into untamed territory in essence. Yet it's a reconquering of the wild that does not exist, even at that point, does not exist most places in the world anymore. And so I've always thought the spiritual aspect of American.
That's a good point to put onto it, is that it seems like most of your movies and even your books, from what little I've read, little I've been able to find, especially on the movie side, the TV series side, they don't seem to start from the fact that let's start with this as a Western base. It's that they don't seem to understand the Western tropes.
Yeah.
And so then they try to marry in, and so they don't know how to merge in sci-fi because they're really what they're trying to do is shoehorn it into a genre they
Yes.
don't really understand. It's
Yep.
like if you start from a background of having watched all the Western movies and you know the Western movies by heart and you know the tropes and then start adding in your elements to it and keep that Western solid feel. Then you don't start moving into like the Wild Wild West. Like I said, I was looking for trying to find a Weird West movie to watch. That's the reason why I kind of settled on Jonah Hex because I could not bring myself to stomach Wild Wild West ever again.
So
I don't think anybody involved could actually.
No.
Yeah.
this entire portion of the conversation actually feeds into my thought on it, and that's exactly what you guys were saying. So Jared's exactly right. It's not the right proportions. I would still propose that your movie, while it is, yes, that is a Western horror movie, right? Supernatural horror, right? I'm thinking like ghosts and stuff. You could easily like, yeah, heck yeah, like spiritual horror, right? But I would still propose that is technically a Western, I would say. Now, and to what Bambo,
Uh-oh, we lost him.
Oh, Fed froze.
like
No, I'm still here. I'm here.
this.
Oh no.
AC's frozen by the feds, man.
Anyway, I'm going to bring up a funny but weird point. Adam Sandler's The Ridiculous Six is a better Western than Jonah Hex because it has an identity and knows what it's trying to be, and it's a comedy Western. It plays on all of the tropes that you know from Westerns and our understanding of history.
There is another one that I had suggested. We didn't watch it. Maybe we should have. The Good, the Bad, and the Weird.
I haven't seen that one. I've heard of it.
Which is a South Korean twisting of
That's what
comedy twisting of the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I have watched it. It is hilarious. I do recommend that movie. Just do not go in that movie expecting anything to make sense.
It's not supposed to.
No, it's basically It's basically if you've seen was it Kung Fu Hustle?
Yeah.
If you've seen Kung Fu Hustle, go into it with the expectation that you're going to be watching something similar to Kung Fu Hustle. Yeah.
That movie, Kung Fu Hustle, makes me so happy.
I have a weird opinion. It's like because I watch it around the same time I watch Kung Pao back in the day.
Yeah.
I think I like them both, but I like Kung Pao better. It just made me laugh more. But they're both great. I think it was the Matrix cow fight really got me.
But it does make me sad that we can't seem to hit the Western, and even from a writer's perspective, because I'm coming into it, sliding into it from a writer's perspective, and I like the Weird West, but it's hard to find good Weird West novels out there. I was told by a publisher, and when I asked them, I said they were asking for open calls, and I said, well, if I ever get this particular Weird West novel that I have in mind that I'd like to write the story, if I ever get it going, would you guys consider it? And I was told, well, you can send us anything. We'll read it if it's a good story. He goes, but honestly, we don't. He said, Weird West is one of these genres that, in his words, writers like to write, but readers don't read. And I don't know if I don't know how true that is.
Yeah.
I don't have an experience on it myself.
I wonder if that's.
It's like
I wonder if that's.
Don't encourage the market, and then the market dies. Like what came first, the chicken or the egg?
Yeah, I think it's more there's never been a good Weird West really thing out there.
But see, I think that's a cop out from trad pubs, though. I don't think it's. I think it's more a situation of writers love to write, and we don't know how to market. Mm-hmm. Is what it comes down to.
I think it's what
so
it is.
So we don't want to touch it because we don't know what we're doing.
Yeah, because when in the short story market, the big new name on the scene right now is a press out of Texas called Racketeer Press. They cut their teeth the last couple of years doing short story anthologies. They published 25 short story anthologies in 1 year. I mean, they've got a system and they're pounding it, and they're doing. They tell you there's no money in short stories, and there's not. You cannot sell short stories these days, and yet they actually make it work. They're making it work.
I think they're going to make a comeback because there are a lot of people wanting to get back into reading right now, but it's hard to pick up like a Sanderson book or like Jared, like your book. That's a hard first book if you're getting back into reading for the first time.
Well, what's also interesting is Racketeer Press. They were willing to go out and try these genres that TradPub wouldn't touch, and they're finding people do want them. Like Weird West, they've got six sci-fi cowboy stories. They've got three Weird West ones. They've had people begging for more. They've hit all kinds of genres that TradPub would not touch, and they've done it successfully. Which I'm very happy because at least I got to play with Weird West and got somebody to publish some Weird West for me.
Oh, absolutely. And it's like Weird West for me is anything. It's like it's anything. It's a Western where something is different. That's the only qualifier I have. Like I've even seen Weird West that are like alternate takes on history kind of thing, and I'm like, I think that still kind of qualifies. Like Weird West has its own set of tropes, but yeah.
AC's frozen again. Yep. You're froze, bud.
His face, the freeze frame of his face is actually an appropriate expression given the circumstance.
Yeah, but just getting it's a genre that I'm finding that because I grew up. I didn't get in. I hate to call myself a fantasy fan because I really don't read a whole lot of fantasy, but I'm a gigantic Lord of the Rings fan. That was my gateway into fantasy, but I didn't get into that until I was in college. But from my teen years on, I was westerns everywhere. I was watching John Wayne. I was watching, Gary Cooper. I was watching Randolph Scott. I was watching Jimmy Stewart. My favorite TV series was Big Valley reruns and Bonanza reruns, and I read just about every Louis L'Amour novel out there.
How did my mom he has hundreds of novels, doesn't he? Like I've seen there's so many.
He does. That's what I said. I won't say I've read everything because he's got tons out there, but I read a huge chunk of them.
Fun fact: my mom named me after Jarrod Bartlett in Big Valley.
Jarrod Bartley.
Yeah.
My husband has a cousin whose name is Jarrod Bartley. His last name is Barkley, and his mother named him Jarrod for the TV character.
When you have that opportunity, you take it. It's kind of like the opposite of what happened to my friend. His last name is my Weenie. That's how you pronounce it. It's Italian. And so, what do you give him for a first name?
Grab.
Holden.
That poor guy. Oh. That's worse than there was a young lady I went to college with. I won't say her first name. Her last name was Crap.
Wow.
Spelled CRAPP.
I would just change it. Sorry, Legacy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm quite glad my last name was not like that.
Oh yeah, I like mine. It's like I'm glad my last name isn't so typical, but then it is fun having people try to pronounce it. I don't think my last name's that hard, but a lot of people have had trouble with it over the years.
Yeah, my married name, people have a hard time down here in West Virginia with my married name. It's not that it's weird to pronounce. I mean, it's pronounced just like it's spelled, but for some reason they look at that.
Hey, you're not frozen.
Their brain just goes skew.
I was trying
now we can let him say what he was going to say.
Okay, I was just going to, before I get cut off again, I was trying to say that the world is really dependent with like Westerns, right? If you start with the core of Western, like what BAMBO was saying, and largely what Jarrod was saying, if the core is Western, you can trim the rest of it with the intended sci-fi or fantasy. So like, for example, another example of like Jarrod's idea where it works very well, but it's technically still like a Western story, right? Would be like Westworld, where that is a blending, but you're literally going into like a Western story. So it's still kind of like a Western story, even though technical, or like Assassin's Creed, right? That's like, it's not a Western, but like it's the device that they use kind of like it works very well actually too, but it's still two different, like it's almost an isekai. It's like two different worlds. The perfect blending where the core is Western, like for example, like Lord of the Rings, we'll put it in like Lord of the Rings context. If like Gandalf is just like some farmer and he's got like, you know what I mean? And it's just like he's wrangling out there in like the Shire countryside, and that's the story.
Now, Gandalf would be the wandering circuit preacher, the weird circuit preacher that wanders through every once in a while.
You guys know
your
what I'm
hobbits
saying,
would be
though.
The farmers. Yeah, your hobbits would be the farmers.
You'd have to change the story from the travelogue, which is what Lord of the Rings kind of is. It's like an epic travelogue, shifted
Best
over to
travelogue of all time. Yes.
shifted over to like a Western story, right? And that's like, I don't know, cattle rustling, whatever Western
Mhm.
story you want to like start with, and then you pepper it with all the stuff. Lord
Do
of
you
the
guys
Rings.
know? Do you guys know that like, it's like technically, there's already been one majorly successful weird Western, quote unquote weird Western.
What's that?
It's Pale Rider.
Mhm.
Ooh.
There's a
Pale
lot of
Rider.
spiritual westerns that have done
Yeah.
pretty well, that are well done, and like
Yeah.
what was it? Not Pale Rider. What was the other one? The High Plains Drifter. I'd call that I'd call that a spiritual western as
There
well.
are a lot of people who theorize that the preacher in Pale Rider and the High Plains Drifter are the same character.
And with a lot of Clint Eastern westerns, that seems to be the case. So it kind of tracks.
Yeah.
Also, have you like? I watched the High Plains Drifter. I'm like, he's not really a good guy. Like he's beating women regular. Like made a midget the sheriff. I'm like, what is happening in this film?
Well, that's where it kind of falls. That theory kind of falls apart when you start looking at the character of the man he plays. But yes, he did. Yeah, Clint Eastwood did. It's like he's character. His Eastwood's character in Pale Rider is a manifestation of the preacher that the one guy caught. What was the marshal?
I don't remember his name. It's been a while.
But the guy he killed, like unjustly, he was unjustly killed, and he is the manifestation of justice come back to like.
No,
right the
I
wrong.
still haven't seen Pale Rider. I
haven't either.
I've
so-
seen almost every
Yeah,
Clint
I
Eastwood
know.
western. I've even seen Joe Kid, and that movie's kind of garbage.
Dude,
I know I almost lose my Western fan card because I have not watched, but I'm not a spaghetti Western fan.
Pale Rider is not a spaghetti western.
Yeah.
It is not a spaghetti western.
Spaghetti western. It was filmed. It was actually filmed here in Idaho.
Yeah, but I mean that
It did look like Idaho, actually.
I'm not a fan of those later westerns, the darker later westerns, the gritty darker westerns. I'm your early John Wayne,
Yeah,
Randolph Scott, that era.
That's my favorite.
Audie Murphy.
Yeah, Audie Murphy's. Mhm.
Pale Rider is still my favorite Clint Eastwood movie. Like of all the amazing work he's done, like Pale Rider is still my favorite.
That's a very.
There's something about that film.
Yeah.
Like,
So I
oh,
did
it's
come
so
this
good.
close to suggesting that one for this thing, because I was looking for Weird West and I knew that one technically qualified as Weird West.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's so good.
I mean, they take peyote in Young Guns, and that's a spiritual experience. So technically, Weird West. We could have watched Young Guns.
Hey, did you know I'm in the spirit world?
They can't see us. Like has a tail. Yeah.
Did you guys see the size of that chicken? You guys. That's my favorite. That's my favorite part of that entire movie when Dermot Mulroney is just firing off in the canyon. Did you guys see the size of that chicken? So good. Dude.
Oh. That movie did not need that scene. There's no call in the script for that scene. But it would not be complete without that scene.
I think if I was a full blown sci-fi writer, because I do want to like try my hand at like a Western in my world of RK at some point. If I was a full blown sci-fi writer, because I was just because this is kind of a puzzle to solve, you know what I mean? Like, not many people can actually blend it and get that like that maximum success, that viral cult success. If I was a sci-fi writer, I think I would start with a story that's like a convoy, because I feel like that is the easiest translation into a sci-fi world, but then also into a Western world. And I'm thinking like Gold Rush, Migration, or like
people going to colonize other star systems.
Yeah,
right.
You had your whole wagon train era.
Wagon
Oregon
Trail. Yes, Oregon Trail. That's what I was trying to think of. Oregon Trail story.
And make
start
sure
with that.
And make sure you have your diphtheria and dysentery.
Yeah.
But then,
well, you know
think
what you could do. So what's so easy with that, and a way to do that is if you took like the John Carter approach, but instead of going to Mars, you just slip into a parallel dimension.
Yes.
And it's like, okay, I just rode out the other end of this canyon, and it's like the Twilight Zone. Like you ride out the end of the canyon, and you ride over the mountain range. It's like, well, this looks the same, but it's not the same.
It's
And
not
then
the
things,
same.
and like as the story develops, things get weirder and more dangerous, and the stakes go like this. There are ways to do that. There are ways to do it, and I think it could be done well.
I think so
Well,
too.
that's kind of like because in 1932, Gene Autry, and someone actually listed it in the chat. That's why I said this is Gene Autry's the one who did it, and that's really what they did. He was a cowboy on the range. They ride into this cave, and they ride out, and there's these aliens and dinosaurs and all these crazy sci-fi stuff.
Yeah.
But that's what they had done. They just rode into a parallel dimension and then came back.
Okay, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I
Well, I was
guys-
thinking like the wagon train would be like the ship, right? And then you got like the family. So then you can have this like tight knit, like, Oregon Trail type story with all the bells and whistles. You're going across the galaxy, maybe just a solar system, right? You got to make it past like 4 or 5, 6 planets. Think about
Well,
like
the only
our
thing of it is,
states would
I
be
don't
different
know
planets.
how well would it work though when you're in the transit since you're in a spaceship. Like with the wagon trains,
Right.
they had all kinds of dangers that they had to face every single day. I mean, on the train. But
That's the
once you
fun.
get there, once you're there and settling, on the other hand,
Yeah. Easy. Yeah. You're like rustling alien cows. You're hunting like alien wolves. The whole
the natives are
the
restless.
native aliens. Yeah, they're all there on the planet. It's just
Mhm.
getting there. Like I think the convoys, because there's all kinds of
yeah.
stuff like asteroids. I don't know. You'd have to. That's where you lean into the sci-fi tropes and try to think of like similar things. Like what's
That's where I've seen the short stories that have come out in the last couple of years. Like I said, I've seen them. They're starting to pop up thanks to Racketeer Press. There's been a big explosion I've seen
sick.
of short story, Weird West short stories or sci-fi short stories are popping up. They're proving it can be done. It's just getting the right story in front of the right person
Yep.
and getting it out. I think there's an appetite for it. There are people out there who want it. It's just how do you get it in front of them and do it in a way that, like you said, is feels authentic and doesn't feel shoehorned.
Yeah, fighting
Also-
alien
yeah.
cows is hilarious. by the
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
It's a great image.
Spider cows, 8-legged cows with
No, don't ruin it. Also, guys, I figured
I
it
think-
out because Jared brought up a good point earlier. You can't mix the sci-fi with the Western, but then we're talking about all these Westerns in space. I figured it out. You can bring Western into sci-fi, but you cannot bring sci-fi into Western.
Ah,
I think that's
I
right.
That's it.
accurate.
I think we figured it out.
Yeah.
Also, I was looking up other Weird West stories examples, and there's a short story called Monster of Lake La Matre, and it's where they find a plesiosaur living in a remote Wyoming lake connected to the Hollow Earth, and I want to read this story.
Ooh.
I've come across some good ones on Substack.
Ugh.
There's one that brings in deals with a guy who's investigating this cave, and you've heard of the giant redheaded giant man-eating giants. It was out west.
Yes.
Yep.
He discovers them. He
Yeah.
deals with
Oh,
that
that's
story.
fun.
That's good classic sci-fi horror.
Good stuff.
Classic horror. There's another
Yeah.
one where it's a blind man, and I can't remember now who it was, but it was a blind man, and he was his brother had gotten him into this gang. They were robbing stagecoaches, and they go hide out in this canyon, and they hide out in this cave, and there's a
Another
gorgon.
good
There's a gorgon in it.
story right there.
The only one who survives is the blind man because he can't see her.
Dude, stagecoach robbing? Hello, like sci-fi, fantasy.
Bambo,
Just toss
careful
that
what
right
you
in
wish. Careful what you wish for. That would turn into a romantasy story real
yeah.
quick.
Oh, I don't
Modern
even,
day.
don't even go there. No.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
No, I'm
No.
almost done. I'm almost done editing our short where I read Morning Glory Milking Farm on stream
Oh,
from a
no.
couple of streams back.
How did you
Good.
survive that?
I read bad books occasionally, and I only had to read about 2 pages worth, but it was
It's enough.
something.
It's enough, huh?
I've also learned more than I ever wanted to about that series. My favorite coffee girl, she reads almost exclusively romantasy, and she and I have talked about books. And so, yeah, it's the sad part is that's kind of tame in that realm of books as well.
I think
I think you've got a point. Because really, if you think about it, Star Trek kind of had that Western vibe to it that you're going to explore new worlds and you're going to the frontier and you're going to explore the unknown, and
Look
Yeah,
at look
I
at
think
look at
you're
these
right.
primitive natives with all their weird little practices.
Well, I think there are a
Yeah.
lot of sci-fi stories out there that do take the classic Western tropes and even some of the Western storylines, and they convert them to a sci-fi story. So you get that no holds barred. You know, we're the rough and tumble frontier. We're here to settle the land kind of feel.
Yeah.
Well,
I think it really
it
is.
makes sense for Star Trek because, like, think about it. It's like the final frontier.
Mhm.
Like,
There's some
we're
people.
going to
Some people,
explore
yeah.
something new. It's
There's some
yeah.
people who claim Star Trek is a Western. There are
So I
people who will
think
claim that.
I think
I'm
I think
not a Star Trek Trekkie, so I can't say that matter. I
Well,
just
I
say I
think-
have heard that.
I think it really is about identifying, well, not even identifying, strongly understanding the Western tropes. Because, like, where did my mind go right away? I'm like, oh, Oregon Trail, stagecoach robbing. And then, like, another one is I'm thinking over here, I was going to bring up how I think Titan AE gets kind of close. And I think Cowboy Bebop, the anime, has a notorious reputation for being pretty good at blending it. I haven't checked that out, so I can't vouch for it. But
It's fine.
that
It's
has a
good.
high praise. So, and I'm thinking about Titan AE. I'm like, well, why does that feel like Western? Well, okay, it's because they lean into the whole, you're blowing into a dusty hole in the wall tavern in like a small town. Like they literally lean into the dusty Western tavern type of thing, but they equate it to like space stations.
Mhm.
So you're like blowing into the next space station, and it's kind of like it's a big ordeal, but like it's got like tavern vibes, right? And like small town, like pop-up town vibes from a Western. And it's like I think that really is like what Kahuna said, and then you got to like really know those Western vibes, and then like think of these situations that blend them really well.
Yeah, and I do think that is the biggest problem that we run into is they tried to do the Weird West, but they don't really understand the Western tropes. And you
just like
see
the
that, and you
idea
see
of
that
Weird West.
absolutely in movies like the Weird, like Wild West, that you could tell. They thought that all they needed was the flashy showgirl, throw in a steam train and the flashy saloon girl thing, and that's all you need for a Western. Again, that is not, and horses, give some horses and some
understand it.
shooters. You don't understand what you're doing. You've got to understand that trope. Start with the Western
Yeah.
and work your way forward.
You know one that kind of technically counts? It's weird because I don't really put it into a genre all on its own because it's so different. But the Dark Tower series by Stephen King.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
supposed to be
Gunslinger.
that's Weird West. That's Weird West.
Yeah.
That's a weird. There's no series like it. I've read a lot of books.
The Gunslinger-
no series like that one.
Gunslingers as a genre, right? It's kind of a Western core genre, and people have branched it out because you can get like a steampunk gunslinger. You can get like a sci-fi gunslinger. That's like your Han Solos of the world. You know what I'm saying? So it goes way back. As soon as Westerns popped up, the genre of gunslinger popped up. So I mean that's another good like maybe cheat code to start with. You start with a nice strong trope like stagecoach rustling or taverns or Oregon Trail, and then you add that that added layer where it's like it's a gunslinger on top of it. So gunslinger robbing stagecoaches, boom boom, you already got two in favor of the Western genre right there. Everything else can be sci-fi.
After all, if they can make space pirates work, why can't you make space train robbers? You got your trains going through space, and
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
no, it makes sense, and I'm looking at this list of different books and novels for Weird West that come out, both old and new. And this one, I'm like, oh, this is definitely fantasy. It's a dystopian 1890s West. A midwife joins a gang of women outlaws who use herbal magic and heist to survive.
Oh.
No, sorry.
Magic? Okay. No, gun.
Women with guns can work, but I'm not.
There you
This one doesn't have the vibe.
They gotta like
I guess
skin
that's what
some
gets
shit.
me. It's like I said, I feel like the Weird West could be a genre that could work. It's just nobody seems to nobody seems to have written it well enough yet to really hit.
You need a cowboy to do it.
Mhm.
You need a cowboy to do it. Jared, collab with me. Let's do it. I'll do 8 to 12K words, and then
I'll
it'll
be the
probably
model.
a
That
comic.
wanted more body positivity. I'll be the model for the main character.
Yes, yeah.
Though I will say I'm not a sci-fi person, so I'm not wanting to lean toward the sci-fi part of it. And I'm not really a horror person, so I'm amazed that I actually managed to write one that had a horror bent to it,
Mhm.
and apparently did well enough to get it selected. But it's usually not my thing.
Yeah.
I think I found one that sounds reasonably interesting. It's just again, like I mentioned earlier, an alternate history thing. Hippopotamus ranchers, escaped slaves, and con artists. Basically, it's like where the South won the Civil War, and they started using hippos as livestock in Louisiana. I'm like, that sounds
Okay.
kind of. It sounds interesting. I'd read it. I'd give it a shot.
Hippo steak.
But real quick before we forget, because we do not want to talk about this movie. Let's give Johann Hex the sink it deserves. Any final thoughts on this film? There were some interesting elements. Even some of the costuming and props were interesting. Acting was not terrible despite everything.
That's my thoughts are that, like I said, it should have been a 2. The actors that did actually come in and tried to do at least something with the best they could with the crap script they had. At least they raised it up by at least 1 ranking. But they did their best. But there's only so much you can do with a bad script.
You know, Bambo, we realized around Jurassic World, right around there, the most recent one, that writing actually happens to be like 80% of movies' freaking score, and all the other budget, throw all the money you want on it. Doesn't matter. There's a red line where you're just burning money.
It depends. If you have really good actors, or if you have actors willing to go off script, you can correct bad writing.
Only so far. But if you even think about it, look how many. Have you ever went back and really watched some of the old black and white movies? And we're talking like the 1920s and 30s and 40s, and realized even with especially some of the old westerns, because I've watched a lot of the old Roy Rogers westerns, and some of the really early John Waynes. And you look at these and you go, okay, they had very little production value. You could see that was cardboard cutout saloon thing, the reels going, but yet, even with the lack of stage design and soundtrack design, the story still pulled you in because the writing was so good on the story that a good writing can make up for a lot of bad sins.
Yep.
But bad writing is hard to correct.
It's hard. You needed something else. So do we all agree? Sinker.
Yeah, it sinks. It sinks.
This is the easiest sink we've ever had on this show.
All right, chat.
And I did sink Highlander. I gave it a sink for my vote when we watched that movie.
Dude, this sinks like a bucket full of lead, man.
This could be the anchor. This could be the anchor for the ship.
Yeah.
Well, until AC and Jared's. We'll get to that. I'll play this.
Tuesday nights know where I'll be, riding high on the iron seas. Ultimate Kahuna.
The chat pays for this. Wait, I gotta put it.
Point them titties to the sky.
All right, we broke him. We got him.
We got him, boys.
It's becoming like how long can you do it with a straight face? That was a 10.
I was gonna keep my shirt on this time.
That was double the normal price. You worked for that 10.
Bambo, calm down. No.
Oh, she says yes, queen.
Yes.
Snaps.
So that was the first ever time we got to play the sync clip. I'm really happy.
That one, yeah. We did have some sinkers back. We have had a couple other sinkers. I need to check the list. We've only had maybe four total with this one.
It's actually rare because we tend to lean towards like movies we want to watch and stuff. And our rationalization is we will eventually run out of the good ones. We will eventually run out. So we treasure a good
Grandpa,
story.
what was it like to be on the interwebs in its early days?
Well, I used to show off my moves to anonymous strangers for money. You'll get there, boy. You'll get there.
Pretty normal. Yep.
Oh.
It's true.
Actually, I do. Real quick, while I remember it, there is. Have you ever read The Mound, the horror story by Robert E. Howard?
No.
Okay, do yourself a favor and read it. It is a Weird West written by the man who wrote Conan, and it is glorious. It is so funny, so initially scary, and like it implies deeper lore and doesn't explain freaking anything. It is brilliant. I love it. And it's the most like manly like version of the story I can imagine existing. In
I'll
fact,
have to find that one. I'll have to find that one.
If you don't explain things, but then like pull it off very well, you will get people like me conspiracy theorizing all day about it. Like, does this mean that? Probably doesn't. Does this mean that? No. Is he going to do this? No. This is just going to be this story. Well, what if this happens? That won't happen. That's okay.
like I'm not going to explain everything, but like the only thing the hero needs to destroy a monster, he has no power except to being a good old boy from Texas. That's his only power, and that's enough for him to beat this monster.
That is a power.
That's always enough. You get
Yeah,
just a
man.
good old boy from Texas. That's always enough.
And
God
there's
bless
power.
Texas, bro.
Ancient evil from a distant past,
Texas.
ruler of empires. Well, I grew up wrestling cows, and I'm a Texas boy,
Yeah.
and I eat my corn.
Rivaled only
And
by
brisket.
power of friendship is the only other.
No, now you're getting into some of your cheesy '80s cartoon kitty cartoons.
Oh man,
What
dude,
do you-
that was powered by cornbread and brisket, and that's all
Yeah.
he needs.
The only thing that can help him out would be some redneck from the Appalachian backwoods.
Oh
Get
yeah.
yourself
Yeah,
a
I-
get your Appalachian
talk-
redneck and a Texan cowboy, and
You're talking about my family there.
I feel like
hey,
this
I am West Virginian born and bred, so and I still
Yeah.
live here.
this is like a Guardian of the Galaxy team being formed, but like Western style, which I'm here for it.
Mhm.
I'm actually here for it. Like, because you could get the lumberjack, Paul Bunyan type from the Midwest,
Mhm.
and then get him in there.
Complete with your Yooper accent.
Yeah,
Get yourself
dude.
a Yooper.
And he's like super nice, right?
Mhm.
Gotta have him. Like, he's like super nice with the axe.
Oh, there
like,
makes-
that's what he uses.
Well, there make
Grandpa,
you good.
why was he tipping the cows naked? What?
Why
Well,
is that
see,
blue?
you could take that and write a comedic Briscoe County Junior style Weird West.
It'd be sick.
Mhm.
I'd be here for it. They just like they're just killing zombies. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, there's another one that it works because it doesn't take itself seriously at all.
Yeah. The team itself. Yeah.
I like a story that's willing to be what it is authentically. Like I'm not Weird West at all, but like look at A Knight's Tale. They took
Mhm.
they did
Great.
that whole like
Yeah.
mixed fantasy and
Right.
modern, and they did it perfectly. That movie
Yeah.
is one of my favorite films, honestly. The more
I
Gem.
have not seen that in years.
it's
Oh,
such a good movie though.
gem.
Absolute gem. It's like everybody in the main cast is just like a brilliant, has done great work other places. And it was just like a weird moment in time right after the towers fell where
I love the meme. I love the meme on X that goes around every now and then, and it's like you see all four of their. You see like the Joker, King Robert Baratheon,
Vision.
Vision, and then the pirate Rob from Dodgeball.
Dodgeball.
It's
Yeah.
like remember when all four of these guys used to be friends? So good.
Oh, it's great, dude. Also, I need to do a whole thing on Tudyk at some point. The guy like his physical acting, great, but his voice work, he's been doing voices and things that I love.
Oh, Stanley Tudyk.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, he's been
Guy's
all over the
amazing.
place.
He was iRobot.
I like growing up, I had no idea until I was older. I'm like, I heard it, and I went back and watched it. See, I'm like, oh, it's obvious that it's him. It's like
Yeah. He was the robot in he was the robot in Rogue One too.
yeah, Star Wars,
Yeah.
yeah.
The chicken in Moana.
Which
Yep.
is hilarious. He has all these weird roles in Disney
Yeah.
films. Like he was also in Zootopia as Weaselton.
The Weasel. Yeah, Weaselton.
Yeah, but
And
they
don't
gave him the same his character in that the same name as his character in Frozen. Like it's the same name. It's Duke Weaselton. That's the name they gave the weasel in Zootopia. Also, I'm like,
Yeah.
that's
not to
kind
be
of weird and
confused with
funny.
Weaselton, not that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh! Yeah, you're right. He was also King
King
Candy and Turbo in what's
And Wreck-It Ralph. Wreck-It Ralph.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I did. Why didn't I like that one's obvious too? Why didn't I realize it? That's so funny.
Anyway, we are here for Bambo. Bambo, you
What?
write Weird Wests. Tell us.
I'm trying to.
or any of the other things you've published, or maybe something that's upcoming.
I'm just getting started. So you guys have a flat out movie on here. I spent most of my days trying to help my husband get his career moving. But this year I thought I'd give my hand at it. So I've started with short stories. Raconteur Press is where that was my gold ring. I managed to finally get one in, got two of them into theirs. Like I said, when you got the guys who support the different kinds of odd genres, the guys who are actually out there paying you get paid. You actually get paid for Raconteur Press. So I highly support that guys, but they're moving into novels and they're kind of cutting back on their short story anthologies next year. Their list is shortened up drastically, and unfortunately, there's not that many open calls they got next year that I'm interested in. So I think I'm losing my excuses to put off trying my hand at getting a novel going. So it looks like next year might be what I'll try for if time lets me off. And Weird West may be the genre I shoot for. We'll see.
How many pieces you got out there? I think I saw Resonant say something about asking you on
I have
Meg 7.
Three that are I've got three. Well, I've got 3 short stories that are currently published, 2 that are coming out, and then I have got ideas for I got novel ideas all over the place.
I was gonna say
that's a novel
just
idea.
Pick a setting.
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Novel ideas.
Oh yes, very, very good.
yes. Weird, but I picked the Weird West genre of the movie because that is the genre that I'm interested in. I realize that since I'm never going to be a career author, I've got the freedom to kind of write those niche stories and hit that niche market. And I think Weird West is where I'd like to go if I can. I got the ideas, but I'm not a horror person and I'm not a sci-fi person, so I would prefer to start with fantasy. Yeah, I want to see. I want to marry my love of Louis L'Amour to my love of J.R.R. Tolkien. My biggest problem with trying to write epic fantasy is it's always set in this quasi-European kind of world and society, and I go, that's not my country. That's not what I know. I know North America. And I cut my teeth growing up on what 19th century, 18th century, 19th century North America. That's what I know. That's the history that I know. I can say St. Louis, and I got a picture in my mind. You say California, you got a picture in your mind of that time period. So I thought, I got to thinking, well, what if I could take elves and dwarves and magic and dragons and dump them over in North America instead of medieval Europe? Do 19th century North America with them. So I've got ideas.
Make sure it's not allegorical. Anyway, make the elves Native Americans.
Yes.
No, well, partially, but no, I want my elves to be Japanese.
Make her redeem. No,
Well, I had the opportunity to make my goblins allegorical for Native Americans, and when the mask comes off, it's literally just a mirror. Nope, you're an orc and this is a goblin and they're the same thing. It's just a smaller version of you. So it's like you killed yourself. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
I don't know if anybody else is interested in that kind of stuff, but that's kind of got my
I'd like to read it, but it does remind me my version of the American continent in my fantasy world. It's the only place where Caucasian looking people exist. And they are referred to as the whites. So it's HWAIGHT. That's how you say it.
and I've realized I spend too much time world building, and the easiest way to get myself moving without doing all the world building is just use our history. It's like create an alternate history for our world. Just use our history, everything everybody's familiar with, but just kind of tweak it just a little.
No, it's great because you're secretly educating people. I kind of do the same thing in certain regards because, I mean, the real world is the best inspiration. It really is. oh, this actually happened. So what if I cranked it up to 11 and like made it my own?
Yeah, well, what if you change this just a little? This would change just a little bit because this element's thrown in here, so this is going to be different. But you know, keep the Western tropes that people are familiar with. You know,
Yeah, just
Yeah.
add in a fan. Like
Yeah.
maybe it's not the gold rush. Maybe it's
Well,
a special
my-
mineral or something.
one of the very first, the second short story, the very first Weird West story I ever posted is up for free right now on my Substack. So if you look up BAMBO on Substack, you'll find my Substack, and look up a short story there called Tea for Two, which starts off looking like your classic spaghetti western banditos riding across the desert, hell bent for leather, all the grubby look that you get, the gruff look, and they're going to go raid this village. And they come around this curve and they stop, and right there's this prim and proper Victorian era dressed lady sitting at a table, quietly waiting for them, snack in the middle of the desert. Nobody else is around. She's all by herself, and she's got this little pet red lizard on her lap, and they all stop around. And as the story goes along, you realize something's not quite right here. And then she starts using magic, and the banditas kind of jerk back. And the next thing you know, she's got her little pet turns into a full-on dragon. And it turns out they're zombies. The banditas were zombies, could not be killed by bullets. She goes, well, it turns out dragon fire can kill you. And she takes them all out together. And then the dragon morphs into a humanoid form, because he goes around as a human, looking like a human. And he's a riverboat gambler. He
Hey,
figures
Bam.
it's a much easier way
That's
to
cool. That's
much
good.
easier way to raise
Yeah.
way to raise a horde than going around and burning villages and having knights come after you. But just go do it on the riverboat card table.
What's the name of the short story? The Weird West one.
Tea at 2.
Tia 2. Okay, I might have to go back a little ways. Hold on.
did
Yeah,
you-
it's pretty well far back. It's been a while since I put it up.
Is this you?
That's me. Yep.
Okay. Cool.
Yep.
I got to
just
change
get
that.
this-
I'm now mom to 14 chickens and not 6,
Oh yeah.
and 3 cats. I've lost a cat since then.
Unicornity. Tia 2. There we go.
There you go.
The way you said it almost sounded like a Native American term, like Tia 2. Let's see.
It's that West Virginia accent of mine getting me.
It's like it got you. Not a lot, but a little. Got a little bit.
Oh, now you can see all the Racketeer Press stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
no, I
back up
did
there
see
back
that.
up there for a second. I want to give a shout out. Give a shout out to Michael LaVoice.
Right here.
Up one more. Down. Well, I guess down one more technically.
Cowboys riding dinosaurs is.
There you go, Michael LaVoice. If you want some fun sci-fi style stories that have just a blast adventure, go look up Michael LaVoice.
Hell yeah. I'm trying to
Sweet.
track
Yeah,
your.
you're on my notes page. Yeah, you need to go to the.
Yeah.
the
Hey, I got
Victorian
there it is.
lady in the
Post.
desert
There
with
you
a
go.
lizard on a table is
Yeah.
a vibe as well.
Right.
Yeah.
My apologies. Here's the actual.
And I want to write
swan.
another story about those two characters because I could absolutely see him being your dandified gambler being drug around by this high lady of adventure.
Right.
If you go to my stories section,
Just constantly angry at her because she won't let him stay on a riverboat.
well, yeah, she's dragging him all over the West. In the meantime, he's also a dragon, but he's also kind of on the run. There you go. There it is.
Yep, that's it.
That's good. That's good.
I can read a paragraph or two of this
No.
real quick, just for our own giggles.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that's it.
Kahuna, do you want to share while you read? Or
Sure,
actually no. Here, I'll just do this, and then you can read. Or or I can like do this actually.
That's not the one you want.
Yep, there it is.
That one.
A cloud of dust rose from the desert floor in a slowly spreading billow through the summer sky.
This one actually is a
nearly-
Western.
Yes,
yeah.
it is not like yours. Oh yeah, Bambo. I once read a whole an hour of Jarrod's story, with a Western accent before I realized this is not a Western. It's a fantasy, like a straight fantasy.
You just got typecasted, big time.
It was the best. It was
Yeah, that's good.
Yes.
Good time.
So this is definitely a Western. Yes.
all right. Just checking. Kicked up nearly 50 gunmen riding hell bent for leather across the barren landscape. The men were rough and filthy as wild looking as mustangs they rode. armed to the teeth with gleaming pistols and long, wicked knives strapped to belts and bandoliers. The butts of long guns stuck out of saddle holsters, while others rode with swords and machetes hanging at their sides. Their eyes focused with a predatory intent towards the western horizon and the undefended village that lay just beyond the hills. The leader, a rangy, bearded man with an air of menace, rode with a powerful black horse a length or two ahead of the pack, a black sombrero, surrounded by a glittering skull-shaped medallion at the crown, shaded his face from the glare of the afternoon sun, and his long gray serape.
Therapy, yeah.
Serape.
Okay.
Therapy, yeah.
Serape streamed from his shoulders like demon wings in the wind. He scanned the long road ahead with rheumy eyes and smiled with satisfaction. It was empty. No posse waited for them. No sentries watched to give warning to the town. There would be no time for the settlers to prepare a defense against him and his men. He chuckled. The village was a sitting goose, fat and ripe for the plucking. All right, yeah, no, this is great. I like this. I hate when I find a word that I can't guess how to say properly, but that's a me problem, not a writing problem. But no, that's fun. I like that a lot. And did your husband prompt the art for a lot of these?
No, I did my own.
Oh, nice.
Yes,
I did like that cover, fantasy covers, especially that one came out quite well.
That's my first shot at clean romantasy. The other one. This was the first chapter of my my pirates short story.
And a polar bear fairy tale.
Yes.
That's such a happy human killer.
I've got lots of 50-word and short stories and a couple of drabbles, and that was a fun story to write. That was supposed to have been a 50-word drabble, and it turned into I think a 3,000-word short story.
Jesus.
Waiting.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
Waiting, a short-ish story by BAMBO.
Yeah. So. Well, 3,000 words is short.
It is short.
That is short.
I'm going to go ahead and toss this in the old chat there. Why don't you cowpoke on, saddle up, and get on over to that Substack?
Like I said, not everything I got over there is weird. I got a lot of flavors of a lot of different things.
She has pirates and other pirates. Then there's all their non-pirates.
Well, those
a
three
romantasy story, the dirtiest you can imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, they might even hold hands.
So if they're going to read that romantasy story, they're going to have to go read it quick because when the book comes out, I have to take it off the Substack.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yep.
That's a rule.
Yep. Amazon algorithm won't let them be up, so I can only leave it up long enough until it gets to the publication.
Some treasure island vibes from that last.
Well, that's a short story that I wrote that did not get accepted in. Raconteur Press did a Pirates anthology back in July, or back in August anyway. It's just recently published, but that was my entry. It was not selected, so I said, okay, I'll just throw it up on my Substack. And I broke it up into 3 parts to see how it would do, because it was. I'm getting longer. My first short stories, I was lucky to push 4,000 or 5,000 words, and I'm starting to have a hard time pulling back from 10. So as I get along, the more practice I get, the longer my writing gets.
You're moving towards writing a full novel.
Yes, that's where I'm moving toward. I'm doing it the old-fashioned way. I'm starting with the short and working my way into long.
Have you guys read any fantasy books recently with pirates in them? Any of you? I've read quite a few. I've read quite a few over my time.
Define pirates.
Yeah.
People at sea who steal things.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
I wrote them into mine.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah, need them. You need them.
I like pirates.
They meet a very horrific end too.
Yes.
That is how pirates should, and
that's
in a justified world, that is what should happen to pirates.
Mm-hmm.
I do hate I like pirates that are original. They find something to make them interesting. One novel I read recently did something surprising, and that was cats are good luck aboard a ship for some reason. And it's like they won't even sail without a cat because they're superstitious. But almost every fantasy novel with pirates, like, we need to make them these pirates different from normal pirates. Yeah. The captain will be female. Yeah, we're original.
No.
Yeah, so original.
If it's good, it's good, but I hate that. Like that's the first thing they think of to make it original. Because
That's the
aside from the
problem.
fact that there were female pirate captains,
No,
That's
Kahuna,
why-
she's female, but also not human. So there
Mhm.
you go. That's what sets it aside, right?
no, she's a lesbian orc captain pirate.
Yes.
That makes her original.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
human adjacent orc. You got to
Yeah.
go full on and be reptilian,
just-
man.
Con-
That's-
content remove.
That's thanks to this whole girl boss era. That's just it's completely ruined. It's done the direct opposite of what they thought it would do. These feminists that pushed it thought they were going to be doing. Oh, we're going to bring power to women. No, you've actually made women all worse off because now people won't even hardly give a movie with a female lead now even a chance. As soon as you
Nope.
see it's a female lead, girl boss, forget it.
Yep. Don't care.
even movies like they'll even advertise and make movies look like that's the case.
Well, yeah,
when
that's
it's
what
really not.
That's what I had when you watch the trailer for the new Fantastic Four movie. That's exactly the feel you get. Oh, great, this is girl bossing. Now I have not watched the movie, but I have read reviews of people who did, who said it's not what the trailer makes it out to look like. Same thing with now. One that I have watched is the D&D movie was Honor Among Thieves.
Yeah.
That
I haven't
is
seen
one-
that. I've heard it's good though.
It's polarizing. I've got some friends who detested it and others who loved it. I loved it, but that's another one that even the idiots before it came out were trying to say, "Oh, this is girl bossy and it makes men look stupid and the women are all powerful." But I'm going,
That was bad.
it's
marketing.
not girl bossy at all. Just because the woman is the barbarian, because you have to understand D&D and the D&D classes and how they're played to understand why Holga is the fighter. Yeah, she's the fighter. That's all she does. She doesn't sit there and make the plans. She waits until Edwin tells her what to do. You know, she's not sitting here lording it over him, but that is her position. She's the fighter. She's
the tank. She goes in and deals damage. Yeah.
But they put a battle axe in a woman's hands, and it got accused of being girl bossy. It got accused of being a girl boss. I think it got hurt because of that.
There was a time where you could literally just put an axe in a badass chick's hand, and if it was cool enough, people were here for it. But like now, all you need to do, and I'll tell you this is what, at the very least, even the most cynical hater, it will at least make them less vocal, right? And it's just you just have to have a simple explanation for it, like.
Yeah.
She's still a woman with all the woman things that make her a woman, but maybe the sword is magical, so it weighs nothing in her hand, right? Or she's an orc. Orcs are different than humans.
Yeah.
What, like, are they going to talk shit about your orcs? Because it's a fantasy race. You can make the female orcs as big and beefy. Same with reptilians. Just non-human, right? That's probably the simplest solution that probably could still get some criticism, but like I said, who are they? Are they writing your world for you now, telling you how your orcs are?
If I have to read another bad book where a 90-pound girl is beating up guys 220 pounds,
or watching that in TV or in
regularly.
a movie or this,
So I cannot recall a single film that apart from Alien and Aliens where it was a female lead that I wanted to see and cared anything about. I don't care. Like I don't care. Like if it is outside of a dramatic film, like I don't care. I couldn't care less about a woman leading in an action film, a woman leading in a horror film, a woman leading in a sci-fi. I don't care.
When it wasn't done to push a message,
I honestly,
I didn't care.
And now it's just like I won't even watch. Like I refuse to watch. Like I have passed on countless films because they're Mary Sue right on the front center of the movie posters. Mary Sue.
And I can't understand why, now that I get why trad pub, everything is female led because that's the demographic they're aiming for. What I don't understand is why, now that I've been involved a lot in the indie markets and going to Comic Cons and seeing these indie publishers and these indie writers, why so many male indie writers write female leads. I have been to like this one gaming con in Roanoke, Virginia that we went to that had a whole row of independent authors and all of them but one, I think, were male. And I'm sitting here looking at the books that they got, and I would say 75% of the books on those tables were female-led stories.
Ugh.
And I'm going, where are your male
got
leads? I bought this one guy's book solely because it was the only one I could find that had a male lead as the character. It was about the guy. I got,
It's a good reason.
I want to read here. I grew up reading the Sacketts. I grew up with Robin Hood as my heroes. I grew up. I want to see good, strong
Hercules.
men. Yeah, I missed I didn't watch the Hercules TV series.
Yeah.
But yeah, that kind of concept.
Yeah.
What happened to the good? Why are men not writing good, strong male characters?
Because they're chasing that check. They're chasing that check, trying to get paid.
I'm bad too. A lot of the stories I've written are female led as well. I don't have a great reason, actually. Yeah, sorry, I don't have a good reason.
I was gonna say,
I'm not against female led stories, but it's like even all my ideas mostly are male led, or at least a good strong team between the two.
I was going to say, as an author with a female lead in my novel, the reason I went with it was to kind of prove a point, essentially. Like, there's a way to go about doing this. She's like a woman the entire time, like in every sense of the word. She's not beating people up, you know, like, and when there's a physical situation happening, she's like using her legs for leverage, not like overpowering with her arms in any way. You know what I'm saying? So like that's a very real. That's like how women would have to fend for themselves in real life, is using their legs. You know, and the entire time she's got like these strong guys around her that'll do what she wants, and that's kind of how she exerts her force, is through devoted followers, right? And
that's the thing. That's the thing, that all these stupid people trying to write strong women, like, they don't understand what makes a woman powerful, and I hate it.
They're very powerful.
You know a movie that actually got it right? A Disney movie of all things? Brave, with the mother. She came into a room full of barbarian men fighting, and her. It's a cartoon, so it's exaggerated, but her presence and poise alone brought them back to civility, and that's what a powerful woman in a position of power is capable of. It's like everyone, like all the friends of mine I had growing up were like really into Éowyn and Lord of the Rings, and she's a great character. I love her character, but I always admired Arwen, the quiet, supporting faith. Like that was why she was strong. Her faith and belief in her man and her person. She was willing to lay down everything to protect him. And it's not that she wasn't a capable fighter and warrior, because obviously she was, but that wasn't what made her strong in my eyes. It was her faith.
But you've got a good point about Brave. If you think about it, it's amazing Disney actually made that movie. If you think about it,
I know,
because it actually, the whole point of that movie was the direct opposite of what the girl boss trope teaches.
Really quick interjection though, and I'm guilty of this too. I have essentially an old man using a bow and arrow in my story, but in my defense, he is an orc and he's old and powerful and has been has magic. Okay, so I get away with it because he's an orc, but in like Brave, I don't know, man. A woman using a bow is cool, but it requires so much upper body. Upper body,
not a same. Compound bow maybe, but definitely not something that big. Not
a long a long bow.
Not a war bow.
No,
get real,
dude.
Real.
The Brits used to have like one arm longer than the other, and it was like super just roided out because they just
Old world archers were the beefcakes, not the swordmen.
Yeah, it's like most men could not do what the old archers could do. You have to train for years to be able to fire like that. But no, you got a point about Brave, because if you think about it, the whole point of that movie. Well, here's the main character who she wants to be the male. She wants to be the girl boss. I want to go out and fight. I want to go out and ride horses. I want to do this. I want to be like dad. You know, I don't want to be forced to be the woman. And she looks down upon her mother, and because you just sit back here in the castle and you're just boys. And yet the whole point of that movie is to show that your mother was a lot stronger than you thought.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more power in that position than you thought it was. It's a direct opposite of what most girl bosses movies want to do.
I in my book I have two of the characters, two of the prominent. One's a POV character. I have 6 POV characters. One prominent character is a girl. The rest of the POV characters are all male. And then there's another really prominent character in the book, and it's a female elf. And there's an interesting play between two of the, like my female POV character and her friend, her like best friend, because the one girl is like she's essentially aristocracy who's been highly sheltered, and the other one knows how the world works, and how they interact with the world around them when they leave the shelter of their home, and because the one girl understand, like, and so what I did is, like, the poor handmaid is the one who really understands what makes a woman powerful and how to wield that power. And it's interesting. And so, like, I played with that is because, like, the one girl, she just had wealth and status, and that was her strength. But now she's in a world that she doesn't know, and her handmaid knows the world and knows, like, this is why a woman is powerful. This is what makes us power, and this is how we use this power. And I wanted, like, I didn't set out to do that on purpose, but with it being in there, as it came about, I was like, I was so glad it fit in the story, because it's like, I wish people would understand better and write better where a woman's power comes from. It doesn't come from being masculine. Woman's power lies in their pure femininity, and it's equally as powerful and far more potent than all of the masculine display of power.
Yeah, well, this is where where people, the feminists, have completely rewritten history. And that they've totally written out, because they look so hard down upon. They go, oh, women had no power back in the Middle Ages. I go, you go back and you look at the amount of power, and we don't even talk about Catherine the Great, who actually ruled, or Elizabeth the First, who actually ruled.
God forbid, any of the, like, Asian women.
Yeah, let's talk about the number of wars that got started and stopped because of the women, or go back and look at Scandinavian history.
Bambo, I hate to break it to you. I've known women, and they are very, very good, very adequately skilled at starting fights. Very good at it, in fact.
And they're very good at goading men into fights. If you read about Scandinavian history, a woman could actually, a lot of those fights that those Viking men got into was because their women insisted that it happened. Why do you think? Because she could divorce him and take everything he had if he didn't fight when she thought he should fight.
You're just gonna let Harold say that shit? Mm-hmm. Go there and kill him right now.
Audience, let me translate into modern hood rat. When your man's not gonna defend you was a bitch.
And I'll say I chose a female protagonist and made her pregnant also, because the vulnerability.
You made her pregnant?
Yes. That's the author, you see.
So they also too never paid attention to the fact that women had so much. I mean, even like Bible days, they want to sit here and they want to go, oh, well, women were completely oppressed in the Bible days. I was like, go back and read Proverbs 31, where it talks about the virtuous woman. She bought land. She was buying land. She didn't get her husband to go buy it. She said she bought the land. She was making the business deals. She was running a business. I mean, because she had all this autonomy, and that was going on. Women have had that autonomy throughout history. They just didn't have the big flashy jobs, because they weren't the explorers, and they weren't the ones fighting the battles and the big heroes. They're down.
And that's the thing. Modern feminists want all the glory without any of the risk.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, okay, go ahead, Lewis and Clark. Yeah. Go ahead and march across an unexplored continent on foot, like largely on foot. Some of it on boats. Yeah, go ahead, woman. See that? Go ahead, like build this skyscraper.
If I recall correctly, a certain teenage bride in that party did quite a bit to help.
Yeah, but she also was raised in that. She was native, and she knew that land, and she was not by herself. people seem to forget that her husband was along with them as well. She wasn't by herself. But I mean, pioneer
Also,
women.
sorry, this is hilarious
Yeah.
to read out loud. Anyway, Snoop, son of dog. Anyway,
Yeah, but I mean, even if you look back in the pioneer days, the women who were, they walked on foot right across the 3,000 miles to the Oregon Trail and fought like alongside their husbands and
They had guns.
worked hard alongside their husbands. They go, don't diminish them just because they weren't out there on the forefront bossing everybody around, that somehow that they don't have any, that they were oppressed. And I go, they had a lot more.
Turns out when you don't got to worry about a lot of that.
Mhm.
Yeah. It turns out when you don't got to worry about, like, do I have to wrestle somebody? Am I going to die today fighting? Like, all these, even voting, right? Like, there's a lot of stress that goes along with that when they could just be with their kid. That's like a huge appeal. Is just like, I'm going to just raise my kid really well. How about that?
I get the point of fighting for the right to vote. Fighting, I do agree with the idea that a woman should be able to own her own property and not get married and have her husband just sell it right off underneath her.
Right.
Lose her title inheritance just because. I get that, but it's they went so far beyond. I joked with some guys that I work with because I'm a female in a mostly male occupation field, and I would tell them flat out, look, I'm not a feminist. As far as I'm concerned, feminist ruined my life.
repeal the 19th. Yes, I'm
second and third wave feminist ruined my life.
Yeah.
If feminists had not had their way, then all I would have had to done is got married, pop out a few babies, and take care of the house, and everything else would have been fine.
Yep.
But now here I am having to work a full-time job.
And if you think about it honestly, like third and fourth wave feminism is not feminism at all. It's masculinism.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like you're masculinizing women.
Yeah,
they're not equipped for.
Yeah, it's like you actually hate women. And you see that even today on some of the stuff that they're pushing today. I go, that's not fit. You want to be a man. That's what you're trying to be. You're trying to be you're trying to make men into women because you hate women.
Oh yeah.
So you feminize men.
Yeah,
you hate women. So you feminize men to be able to, because you hate men as well. And you're trying to become the men.
It's so great to be a man, like the
anime is at least as bad about that, by the way. A lot of anime romances like their method is to make the men act like women. Yeah. For a lot of anime. I don't like it.
I don't like it either. That's why America needs to like fight back with that. With the animation department.
That is my whole point. I go, I'm not against female-led stories. Mm-hmm. I don't have I have read a few that I have enjoyed that've been fine.
Good.
But
be realistic. That's it. Just every time I reached a moment in my story where I'm like, oh, okay, she's pregnant, she's female. Like, what the hell is what would even happen here? What's a realistic way to like take this? And the story writes itself. To be honest, it's like I don't want to say it's easy because you do have to like go out of your way to stop and be like, now what would really happen here?
And that's the thing. If you're going to write a female-led story, try to be realistic to the female physique. Either that, or create a situation that is realistic to your setting for why she can do what you're having her do. But at the same time, I go, guys, please, male writers, female writers, please give me some more heroes. I miss the old heroes. I miss the Three Musketeers, the kind of caliber of the Three Musketeers, of Robin Hood, of Robinson Crusoe. Yeah. Give me more Indiana Jones. Give me more Solomon Kane. Give me some real, true heroes, masculine heroes.
Yeah, you remember Solomon Kane?
I got a book for you, Bambo, coming up. No, I wrote one for you.
Yeah.
You like it.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, not the female lead that AC's offering over here. I got that hero though. I got that hero in one of my stories.
I'm not against the female lead. It's just I grew up reading cowboy stories. I grew up reading the old classics. I loved the old classics, Ivanhoe's, and I read Ivanhoe. I read Black Arrow. I Kidnapped, Treasure Island. I loved the masculine stories, and I miss having heroes. I want heroes to follow and cheer on.
Yeah.
And give him the good, strong female. I mean, don't give him the wilting damsel in distress women either. Give him women that are. A woman can be equivalent to the man. She can be worthy of the man in the story, without having to be masculine herself. But make her.
Thank you.
Yes. It's like that's one thing too about a lot of the westerns. People want to point to the females. Oh, she was just a wilting flower, just standing over there and gritting her teeth. And they've never really paid attention to a lot of these old westerns. The females several of these females in these old western movies were not just wilting damsels in distress. Yeah.
packing a
but-
Derringer in their corset. And,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But
Yeah.
they did not have to overshadow the man or be the masculine type in order to be a strong female.
Yeah.
And just because she's the prize of the man does not demean her.
Mhm.
Let's make her worthy of
Makes her
being that
more
prize.
powerful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
on that
also,
note, so I got
I
a dip.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah. I'll
Bye,
see you,
Jared. Love you,
I'll see
man.
guys.
Take it easy.
Hey,
Yeah.
Bambo, it was great to hang out with you.
You too.
This is great. We gotta have you on again.
Mhm.
All right.
You
Bye.
have a good night, Jared.
Peace, brother. Now, I have another female-led story that's powerfully interesting. I think you guys are gonna really gonna like it.
Oh goodness gracious!
Yes. What did we just? Okay. I'm gonna. He broke Bambo. That's great. I will be right back though. You guys keep-
I had
keep
such a hard
talking.
time believing that was a real book. I was so hoping that was just an AI generated joke.
Now, this cover is just me. That's just
No, it's
mine.
real.
Yeah.
It's real.
Yeah.
Are you a secret furry? I guess would you call that a furry? I guess cows do kind of have fur.
I don't know. Like that's the problem. Like people my age, we grew up with like all these half-human, like anthropomorphic, like animals,
Mhm.
and then yeah, everyone's like, oh yeah, so yeah, now all these generations of furries exist. I'm like, look at the movies I grew up with. Of course they exist.
Yeah.
Like, you
I think I've seen
sexualized
somebody
animals.
else made that comment. I think I've seen that either in a meme or an article I read here recently. It was pointing that out. They go, we shouldn't really be surprised that the furry thing is a big deal right now.
Cowabunga. I threw up a bunch. Kahuna, I've already reported you for targeted harassment. I can't do it. No, this is from I'm like, what if I wrote a bad like version of Morning Glory, what would it look like? Kahuna. Yeah, that's what I came up with. It's great.
Yeah, that's
Oh.
so that's I have read my share of romance in my growing up years. However, the only romance I ever touched was the inspirational clean stuff because I did not want to get into the what's out there today, which is why I hate to say that one story is romantasy because I know the reputation romantasy has. And it is not.
Yeah.
There is not a lick of that in that story. Sorry, the spice level is 0. If anybody wants to read that story, Conspiracy of the Heart, trust me, the spice level is.
We can
sitting at
spice it
about-
up. We
Yeah.
can use our imagination. No.
Well, that's what I intended. Get fade to black. You can pretend. You can read the story and then decide where it went from there. I don't care where you
Absolutely.
go with it from there. But well, I guess I can't say the spice level is absolutely 0, but it's definitely nothing more than a 1 or 2. You know.
Oh yeah, no, we don't even need to get into that, Bill. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
aware of
I've been worried about that.
I'm aware of the depths of things for a long time. Yes, the spice must flow.
Oh, the things that I have learned in just the last 3 years that was out there that I had never known. Just the last 3 or 4 years, well, 4 years since I got married and married an author who was an independent, and we started diving headlong into authors' cons and conferences and meeting various people and seeing what the genres are out there. I've learned a lot that just the people
I
of my
can show you the world.
I live in a community that is said it's home, but it is very, very monoculture.
Mhm.
So I know the geek and nerd culture exists, but it is very few and far between and underlined, and we are very scattered apart, and it's hard to find.
Minnesota.
It's hard to find the other nerds when you're around here.
Yes, I believe.
It's very hard.
Now, I live south of Seattle. It is not hard to find nerds, but to find some that know that they're a woman or a man is a different story. That's a whole different.
Around here, that's not unless you want to go to the college towns, and that's another story.
College
but-
town's just a mess right now, man.
Yeah, we got a college town 45 minutes from here, and yeah, that's where the nerds are there, but unfortunately, they're the rainbow flag type, so it's hard to. There's a lot of those that over there, but
Look where I live. If I hop on Tinder, it looks like the extras from Lord of the Rings every time I hop on there. It's
but
bad.
a lot of the people in this area that I grew up with, they're good. They're good country folk. It's that classic country style folk. I mean, we're not city people at all. When you,
It
I
just
seen
doesn't lend itself to nerdom.
we saw a short clip the other day on YouTube, an old article interview between Joan Rivers and Dolly Parton, where Joan Rivers kind of gives her this snide comment about her type of people, and Dolly Parton politely and sweetly basically laid her out. But yeah, I grew up with those kind of people, but they have no understanding of sci-fi, of fantasy. They don't know the first thing about superheroes.
Not interested. They've never.
They're not the least bit interested. They look at me. It's like my mom asks me about my stories. And I tell her about my ideas of taking elves and dwarves and dragons and moving them into the Weird West story, and she just looks at me and goes, "Oh yeah, Barbara Walters. Okay, fine, Barbara Walters." But she just goes, "Where do you get this from?" And
Mom,
people,
I'm actually normal.
yeah, my husband tells people around here about his books, his sci-fi stories, about his love of Flash Gordon and throwing in sentient robots and sentient AI and these uplifts and all this. And they look at him like he's grown a third head.
Of course they would. Yeah, no.
Yeah, they cannot. They can't. We would love to have people over. We'd love to have that D&D gaming group. You know, people would come over once a month, play games, enjoy nerdy movies.
That would
and
be fun.
that
I
just
used to
does not
do
exist.
I used to do Castles and Crusades every Saturday with a Lord Otter and his crew, and that was a ton of fun. We started off with a sci-fi version of it, and then we went to Castles. Like, it was a blast. And I'm like, in person would be really cool, but I don't have that kind of time, and organizing that many people is kind of rough.
Yeah, around here we can make the time. We just can't find the people.
Yeah, opposite problem.
Well, that's why I did not get introduced to. I didn't get introduced to fantasy or anything like that until I had watched the Star Wars movies as a teenager, and I had briefly read a couple of those novels, and realized sci-fi just was not. I'm happy for the people who love it. My husband's a huge sci-fi person. Sci-fi is just not my jam. It's just never been my jam. But I've never been.
There's one you got to read though.
Mm-hmm.
It's fantasy coded, but it's Red Rising.
Mm-hmm.
It's my favorite. I'm a fantasy person, but it is my favorite series. Has been for about 5 years now, and I don't think it's changing. It had contenders, but some of those contenders had sequels that were not a little lackluster. I'm like, okay, well that settles it. This is it. But yeah, like if you like it, like if you like the idea of like the politics and the danger and like the where the politics of a good fantasy like epic novel, that's going to be more of this. But there's the element of like danger and creativity that sci-fi has.
I'm less of wanting the politics and more of this to give me the sheer adventure.
I
want a good adventure story. Yeah, I just want a good adventure story. That's why I one of these days I bought Sword of Shannara. I've got to read that one. I've never read it. I've bought it. I got a copy. I want to read it. Basically, I want to see, because I've been told it's pretty much Lord of the Rings beat for beat. And I want to see.
That would be fun.
Yeah, I want to see if it is.
Bill's asking when we're going to do the Morning Star for the book club. I've been so busy, but I will make the time here one of these days. But like, I don't know. I love when a series you don't need to have a good opening line to be an iconic series, but it really helps when you do.
Yeah, there's that hook. The whole hook thing does exist.
It's like for Red Rising was, I would have lived in peace, but my enemies brought me war. I'm like,
that's a fantastic opening line.
And it's true. The entire book, the entire series, all 7 books here soon. Book 7's coming out here, but yes. But what do you like to read most of the time?
I don't get to read much lately. That's the biggest problem. I've still, unfortunately, I've been reading a lot of nonfiction lately. But
how about this? How do you read? Do you do e-readers? Do you like physical books, audiobooks?
A little bit of both. A little bit of both. So I'll not audio. I've got audio. I've done it for long car trips. I find though that with audio, I've got a couple of books on, and I did the Andrew. Oh shoot! It's a big popular series for kids.
Andrew. What kind of books?
I want to say Peterson, but I don't know if that's his name. They just did the cartoon series. It's on the tip of my tongue.
I don't know. I make my kids. I have my kids read stuff. Like I got my son.
There
The
was 4 books.
Animorphs.
There was
Yeah.
4 books in Wingfeather Saga. The Wingfeather Saga.
Oh, okay.
I listened. I've got those all on audiobook. That's how I actually listened to them. I read them was through audiobook. Loved that series until the last couple of chapters, and then I wanted to throw the books against the wall. If I'd had physical copies, they would have been thrown against the wall. I hated how that series ended. But
It can be really upsetting. Like there's one that I like, but I also hate because of how it ends, and that's what the hell is it? It's the Blade Itself trilogy by Joe Abercrombie. I'm not sure what the actual series. There you are, AC.
Yeah.
I don't remember what the actual series, like what the name of the series was, but it starts off. It ends like a Greek tragedy, as in like all the people you were rooting for and hoping good things would happen for have terrible endings, and all the kind of shitty people have decent endings, except for one.
That's not a book for me. That's not a book for me. This is the reason why I won't touch
It's one thing to end a book that way, but to end a trilogy that way is kind of diabolical. Thank you. Thank you.
I read, like I said, I'll still dig up a Western. I'll go back and reread my favorite Luna Moores once in a while. Recently,
I have a few, but I've never read one.
Sort of for, like I said, when it comes to fantasy, I'm careful because with being a Christian, there are just certain fantasies that have things in it that just doesn't sit well with me, so I'll avoid them. I'm not
like witchcraft, and dark magic kind of stuff.
Well, if the bad guy's doing it is one thing, it's when the good guys start doing it. I can't do a book. It's called Necromancer.
Like the MC is a half demon, and it's great.
Yeah, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Or the MC is a necromancer, or that's not my. Or they're doing real world Wicca, that sort of thing. It's one thing for me that if it's a fantasy, so it's D&D fantasy, he's a wizard. I don't care if he's casting magic if you've got a good explanation for it, but it's the kind of magic and how it's handled that bothers me.
Yeah, it's like Name of the Wind, that they have 2 magic systems. One of them is naming, and it's very soft. It's like you have to understand the nature of things, and it involves your sleeping mind, all that stuff. But then the other one is like sympathy, and basically it's like they can make wax simulacrums of people, and like the main character's trying to be like someone's trying to torture him for a period of months, and he has to make a charm basically to protect himself. I'm like,
I have grown up and come out of the satanic panic days of my youth, because that was the culture I was raised in. You don't read this. I was really shocked that my mother and my church culture would let us even do Disney cartoons because of, like I was allowed to watch Sleeping Beauty at a church school party at the Christian school I went to, with Melissa Fenton turning into a dragon and the whole thing. They let us watch that, but my mother would not let us watch Neverending Story. We couldn't watch.
Yeah.
We were told that you shouldn't read this. You should. Well, for instance, here's a good one. We were raised believing the Black Cauldron was nothing but witchcraft and horrible stuff, and you don't read to watch Cauldron. And granted, the Disney movie The Black Cauldron, which I have seen, sucked. That was a really bad. It
almost closed down Disney animation for good.
For a good reason. It deserved it. But I went back and I started. I was looking up. I wanted to find out who were some more of that Louis L'Amour and C.S. Lewis and J.R. Who was writing at the same time? Then I remember, well, there's Lord Alexander. Especially since I'm trying to there's a boys' adventure story that I want to write that has that flavor. And I got to thinking the Black Cauldron. So I said, well, let's go look up what else has he written. And I got to reading his background and reading the background of that story. And I go, this was nothing what I was told it was growing up. So I went and bought the series. And I've read the book. I've read the book of 3. And I'm looking at this and going, this is nothing like what I was told. This is a great story. This is a blast. And there's nothing in here that's witchcraft and wicked and evil and satanic.
Because of my age, what my generation had to deal with.
Oh, yeah.
As far as like the satanic panic kind of mindset. Yes,
the Harry Potter series.
Yep. Yeah, a lot of my friends were not allowed to read or watch.
Oh, I know. I sat in churches that had the pulpits preached against it. Like I said, no, I've not read it. I can't say one way or the other, but
perhaps an overcorrection has been made. But that mindset did have to be examined, I think. There was a lot
Yeah,
of
it's like I tell
incorrect purity culture
Yeah.
is how I would describe it. I
Yeah.
don't know the exact way to describe, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, because I was a kid. I was a kid when D&D was the subject, so that was considered evil. Anybody who played D&D was playing around with Satanism, and you had that whole thing. And it's like I've told my husband. I said, on the one hand, there are like I said, it's why I have to be careful what I read. There are books and things out there that aren't good for someone who's trying to be moral and upright, that they really shouldn't be reading. And I can thank my mother, even though I think she was overcorrecting. I can thank her for this aspect, understanding that
For attempting
children.
to shield you.
Well, it kept me out of trouble because as a child, I did not have the discernment to know how to tell what was okay and
Of
what
course
maybe
not.
I shouldn't watch. So just my
No,
so
I
my
don't think
mother's
any
method.
child knows that
Yeah.
offhand.
So my mother's method of just none of it, at least that protected me from getting into some stuff I shouldn't have gotten into until I was old enough to be able to discern that. So looking back, I go, I'm not, because I roll my eyes at some of the aspects of it, but I'm not going to completely slam her because I can thank her for it kept me out of trouble. And I've talked to people who were not protected like that, and they have regrets. They have regrets.
Oh yeah,
Don't.
If I play,
you know a weird one to examine. Sorry, see 1 second. Is like with the Christian families, I didn't always agree with the restrictions on media that they placed on their children. I understood it. There was a basis for why they chose that. But some of the non-Christian families I grew up around, they had rules, but they were weird rules, like sexual content. Fine, whatever, doesn't matter. Like the Saw movie, like one family, the Saw movies were fine. But for that family, nope. Anything vampires, including Twilight. Nope, can't watch it. It's evil. It's wrong. You let your kids watch Saw when they were like 11. What do you mean?
Yeah, that's interesting.
That's
I was
wild.
gonna say to play devil's advocate with the satanic panic and all that with D&D concerning that specifically. Maybe there's some degree to it if it's like not theater of the mind, and you're just like role playing, because then I can see maybe a degree of channeling going on.
That's why I say I can respect the fact my mother basically kept me from, because children don't have a lot of discernment, especially when it comes to theater of the mind. They have a hard time separating that this is all completely fiction and make believe, and this could be real. And there are these game systems. I absolutely recognize that there are elements of these game systems. Like I've read up all of them. You've got your nice, fine, fluffy D&D base game, but if you want to go hardcore, it's out there.
It can get pretty hard. Yeah.
White Wolf, Vampire the Masquerade. I mean, I've heard these things like this. I go,
well,
it's a trap.
Think
you
about
can get hardcore.
Think about method acting. Like really, you're like giving yourself over to something.
Like you're letting yourself be possessed by something,
yes.
essentially.
Yeah. So if you really get into the role playing aspect of it, I can see. But like, base game, I don't know. You'd have. I mean, there's demons and stuff. So sure, there's always that argument to be made. The content of it.
And that's what it is. I can appreciate waiting until I was older and old enough to be able to understand the differences and have that discernment and learn how to follow my conscience and and have that maturity there. That as a child I would not have. I would not. I can clearly see I could have gotten into the things I had no business getting into as a kid. So
yeah, and like for me, I have kids, and I have a different approach. I had to be a bit more careful when I was going through the custody battle, which I don't have to be quite as careful and like soft-handed as I like. That sounds bad. But anyway, sorry, I can't even joke about that. But it's like if like I let the kids watch K-pop Demon Hunters, and because my parents don't know what it is, we're like, oh, I don't want. They probably shouldn't watch it. I'm like, no, they're not demons. It's not glorifying demons. The demons are evil. They're deceptive, and they try to make themselves attractive and pretty and all these different. Like that is how a demon would be, and the only thing like the message of the movie was fundamentally biblical at the bottom and the bedrock of it. And I think it's good for kids to see that evil exists and that the only thing that defeats evil is being confronted by the good. And I think that's a valuable thing to show.
Yeah, the big deal is who wins in the end and how do they win it. If they're winning it by using evil means, or the bad evil's the one that wins, you got a problem with your story.
Yeah, I'm not letting my kids read
yeah.
Elric right now. They can read that when they're older.
I mean, there is room and place for morality tales as well. Cautionary tales as well. And it also comes down to, I guess I guess the biggest issue that I have with, like I said, I'm what was considered a fundamentalist Christian. But I've broken a lot with a lot of the traditions that I was raised with. I understand where they came from. I understand why. I could see the value in them. The problem I ran into is when they went from this is a rule of thumb. Should you stop and really think about this? And should you be to if you're involved in that, carte blanche, you're a bad Christian, or you're sinning, or instead of leaving it up to the person and their own free will and their own if you see somebody doing something you're kind of worried about, talk to them about it, but to sit here and judge them.
Yeah, my family, I've had a small conflict about this is fine, I'm comfortable talking about this, but with my mother, because she helps me with the kids quite a lot, and she's expressed them recently that Halloween is evil. And I kind of have to, I see why she says that, but I'm also this is what I told my kids. I said after talking to them, I'm like, Halloween is a holiday. It's not. I don't think in the modern day it's meant for evil, but evil is not a thing. It is an action. What if you do bad, then it is evil. If you do good, then it is good. If you
there's aspects of what are you celebrating? Why are you celebrating that? What is it? What's the purpose behind it? But like I said, and I don't have a problem with a person living their life. You need to live your life according to your morals. And yeah, I firmly believe the Bible is that there are lines the Bible does draw. It's like I'd say that there are principles and there are precepts in the Bible. The precepts are ironclad, non-negotiable. This is right, this is wrong. The Bible makes it very clear. Those are pretty clear cut on what they are. But a lot of what's there is also principles, which is supposed to be guided by our freedom. And I think humanity doesn't like giving other humans that freedom. This whole freedom of our freedom as our Christian freedom. So we tend to want more rules, and so we do that. We end up going down the pharisaical route where, what God said is all and good, but we're going to clarify that, and this is what He means, and then we end up adding this huge long list of rules.
It was like the Hebrew laws being like when people used to say that they were biblical laws. I'm like, they're not God laws. They were laws for the Jewish people at that time. There are things that were like God's laws, but that was fairly clear about that. Where did you find this?
Yeah, and that's the point. It's just like Jesus himself got accused by the Pharisees of doing all kinds of things. Oh, well, heaven forbid you broke this law, you broke that law. And he pointed out there's a difference between your laws that you guys made and what God actually commanded, and your laws are actually making God's laws null and void, because your intent has completely destroyed the whole spirit of the reason why God put that law in the first place. You've made it none effect. And unfortunately, humanity does the exact same thing today.
Humanity has always had these problems. I love huge.
Yes.
Also, that's my favorite way, because I heard a guy in a movie say it with an accent that was too thick once. Whenever someone says humanity, I always laugh in my head and go, huge-manity. That's my favorite. Oh man, they made her look like the Last Exorcist girl there. That's great.
One of the best books I ever read on Christian freedom was by a Messianic Jew who talked about that. He goes, we can all agree on the precepts that are the laws of God says this, and we're all trying to be a better Christian, but a lot of things we need to do according to our own conscience. Don't violate your own conscience, and don't judge other people when it's something that falls in the realm of freedom or liberty. And too many times, and
Yeah.
I guess my biggest beef too is that there's a lot of things that I was taught that was supposed to be right and wrong, that when you go back and I start asking, well, where did this come from? Especially some things that we do nowadays that we just take for granted. Oh, well, all Christians do this. And you go back and you look at history and you go, well, wait a minute. Christians weren't doing this 150 years ago. Christians weren't doing this 300 years ago. So where did this actually come from? And you get to thinking about it and you realize it's not biblical at all. It's just culture.
And it's like it's given Puritanism. Like
Mhm.
I have a bad association with the word. Seeking purity is
Great.
is wonderful, and it's a
Yeah.
great thing. But it's not helpful if you're for the church specifically, if you're trying to bring people to Christ. If you're rejecting them at the door because they're dirty when they've come there to be clean, and there's something fundamentally wrong with your mindset. And but no, this is a long comic. What is this from?
It looks like a track.
Yeah,
it
it's,
does.
Bill sent it.
Mhm.
Right here. This
I
is
think I've seen this a long time ago. I think I've
Right
seen
here.
It
this.
looks old, yeah.
Yeah.
right here.
Yep.
So I can leave this here because it actually leaves the proper amount of space for the comic. I can kind of vet the next panel a little bit, but not really. It doesn't seem too bad or anything.
That
I
art
just
on
don't
the
know.
right
I
is
just
pretty
don't know
cool.
what I'm pulling up on screen. I'm like reading it with you guys as we go.
Yeah.
Now it's like I'm sure this could have been the case. Like if you hang out with shady people who believe in weird things, you'll probably end up doing shady things and believing weird stuff.
Mhm.
But it's like saying that someone who smokes a cigarette is going to become a drug addict, or like a kid, someone having a beer for the first time will make them out
Mhm.
an alcoholic. It's like I know I don't like alcohol that much. I don't drink that much, but so I know it's not a problem. But I know other people can't.
Yeah.
It comes down to discernment and where your heart is and things of that nature too.
Mhm.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and that's what frustrates me, because people desperately need Jesus. They need to be brought to self. Not in like I'm a Christian. I believe Christianity is the truth, but sometimes humanity is the absolute worst. Christians can be some of the worst representatives of Christ.
Worst
out there.
advocates, I think.
Yes.
My favorite Christian is Vlad the Impaler. I jokingly say.
Yeah.
say he did not like them Ottomans. He did not like them Ottomans one bit.
Yeah.
He was
Well,
like,
I said,
Turks,
I know that
Muslims?
said
No.
there are.
What does he have against a couch cushion?
Right.
No.
And like I said, there are lines. There are lines. I mean, I don't. It's not just anything goes. There are lines to be drawn.
Yes. Yeah.
I do.
there
I
are
think we
lines.
have. I think we have bounced, like we overcorrected from the puritanical,
Yeah.
like Bible thumping kind of ways that were happening a lot when you were younger, and even when I was younger. I do think there's been a bit of an overcorrection.
Yes, yeah.
It's like we went from everything is bad to everything's perfect and fine.
And
Everything.
Jesus, and
fine.
Jesus would love this too. And we're going, no, that
Jesus is
doesn't-
trans. No.
Yeah, no, no, that's not it.
Ugh.
Jesus would have no problems going out there and mixing Christianity with this pagan belief. And I'm going, no, that doesn't happen either. Yeah,
No.
well, and then like I said, there are things that you should be. There's a spiritual aspect. There is things that you should be messing with because they can affect you spiritually. They can open doors that you will desperately wish that you had never opened. But
Well, I've never been nervous about that stuff because I don't seek it out, but I've never been nervous about it because I know who I am. I know who I belong to, and I don't ever push that limit in any way. But again, it's like I know some people are more drawn to dark things than I am in that regard.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. Everybody has their own weaknesses. So I try not to judge when I see, like, for instance, Christians who are reading Harry Potter, because I'm going, it's not my place to judge them. That's between them and God. And maybe I might not be able to read them. I've never tried. I've never been interested. But there are other things. Some Christians can enjoy horror movies. I cannot watch a horror movie to save my life. I'm sorry.
I will say this, just from a removed perspective, as far as the Harry Potter thing goes. J.K. Rowling ended up coming in joining the good fight. Like she's been speaking a lot of truth lately, I'll say.
Yeah.
And you
There's
know
a
that
lot
is
of
the-
Well,
biblical
she's taken a
references in
lot
Harry
of
Potter
hit
as
and
well.
crap
Mhm.
for daring to speak the truth. Yeah.
Yeah. So I
Is it-
mean, that isn't to say that something can't use people from time to time
Mhm.
in certain moments of time, but I mean, in hindsight, it seems like
Yeah.
she, understands.
Like I said, I'm learning not to listen to necessarily just because the hearsay that comes around doesn't necessarily mean it's true. So there's a lot of things that misinformation that gets, I hate to use that term, but it is true, that gets spread around that people believe
Especially on
based
Facebook.
on hearsay. And for example, the Black Cauldron series, the Andrew um, Lloyd Alexander's The Prydain series. That's what I'm finding out right there. Reading it for myself to see, you know what, this is not what all the hearsay said it was. Now, I can't speak for Harry Potter. I've never read them, so I'm not going to sit here and say,
I
oh,
I
how
I
awful they
can.
are. Yep.
That brings up another point though. It's not as common anymore, but I still do see it. It's like people say, "Oh, this thing has evil in it." I'm like, if the bad guys should be evil. If the bad there should not be a problem with the bad guys doing bad things. Now,
Exactly.
how explicit something is should affect whether a person of a certain age should watch it or not,
Mhm.
in my opinion. But it's
Yeah.
like people have problem they're like, "Oh, this evil thing." I'm like, "Yeah, because the bad guy did bad thing. Weird. What do you know?"
That's why he's the bad guy.
Yeah.
Evalee, I heard Evalee put it eloquently one time. He said, if he can tell that it's made with evil intent. So
Yeah,
like,
you can tell.
yeah, like when people get gluttonous with like the bad stuff, where it almost becomes glorifying, even if it's technically not.
There are definitely movies that glorify
Yeah.
needless hyper violence
or nudity
for the
sexuality.
sake of
Yeah.
violence.
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly.
So
And there are things that some people can handle that, like I said, I can't handle horror movies. I don't. It's just I am a wimp. I can't even watch the stupid commercials, even the stupid cheesy horror movies. I actually watched big chunks of the made-for-TV Rose Red, Stephen King's Rose Red.
Yeah.
That is one of the most cheesiest, stupidest looking horror movies. And
You
yet
haven't seen
still
have you ever heard of Tyre?
no.
It's where a car is evil.
teeth.
Well, I thought that was it Christine? I thought that was Christine.
Christine's
The car.
also an evil car. Yeah.
Yeah.
That another one. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
another one.
Yeah.
Oh no, Stephen
Knight
King.
Rider.
He writes good books. And
What was
then
that
he ruins
one?
them with endings.
What's that one set in West Virginia that you like so well? He'll put it on there. It's supposed to be. It's making fun of the horror movies.
Oh, Scary
No.
Movie?
No. Set in West Virginia, the two guys. Alan Tudyk was in it. Yeah, Tucker and Dale versus Evil. That's it.
Tucker and Dale's such a good movie.
Yeah.
Rubber. That's the name of the movie. Thank you.
Rubber. Yeah, because
Thank
it's
you.
about a tire. Yeah, that's right. Rubber. But Tucker and Dale is
This
like a masterclass of perspective.
Yeah,
it's actually really good. Like,
I know it's a good movie. I can't watch it.
Oh.
No,
I am that big of a whip.
Scream is actually like it's making fun of horror films, but it accidentally turned into a really effective horror film.
Mhm.
I don't blame you. They're like, I don't Bambo. I'm on a different wave. Like, I can handle horror movies. You know what I don't like? I don't like horror series. It's worse. Because a movie it's usually contained in horror films. There's usually a good guy. In horror TV series, there isn't a good guy. There are just shitty people and then different shitty people all doing shitty things.
That's the reason why I would never watch Game of Thrones, because I'm sitting here reading, and the sheer amount of sex aside, which I wouldn't. That's number one. I wouldn't watch because of that anyway. But even tossing that aside, I sat and I read the wiki synopsis because it was huge. So I'm going, okay, so what's this all about? Everyone wants to talk about it.
It's a lot.
And I go, so what's it about? So I go read the wiki synopsis, and I'm sitting here going, the only character in this entire series that I would ever have rooted for was Ned Stark, who was killed in the first half of the book. First book. Why do I want to watch the rest of the series?
That's the general consensus, that he's typically the only good guy. But then you look at Jon Snow; he's actually,
But then they kill him off. You know, they keep killing people.
He's
off.
dead right now. You're
Yeah.
right. Not in the show. Not
It's
in the
funny.
show,
He's
but
been dead for how many years now? It's been-
you're right. That's the thing. He
Yeah.
could just easily keep him dead.
What?
He could just
How funny
easily
would it
keep
be?
him dead.
Like, say Winds of Winter comes out, it never will. Say it does,
No.
and then like John just stays dead. Wouldn't that be the funniest
so
gotcha
funny.
of all
That
time?
would be so funny, dude. Because it would just
Yeah.
destroy the show already more than it's already. They destroyed themselves, you know. But yeah. On that note, actually, you know, there's so many. You know, I watched and rewatched Game of Thrones with my wife since we met and stuff, and you know, geeked out on the conspiracy theories behind where the story might go for like Winds of Winter and stuff. And
Dream Warriors.
Sorry, that's a great Dawkins album.
there's so many scenes in the show that are pointless, and then so many important ones and like named characters that they left out. So at a certain point, it just becomes vandalism, and it's like they got more comfortable with the vandalism as the show went on. For example, there's like, I mean, I know there's probably scenes that take place in brothels in the book, but like, for example, Littlefinger is not a point of view character. So like all the scenes with him in the brothel and all the prostitutes and stuff around him, literal pointless scenes that like the perverted creators of the show wanted to put together to just like have this scene.
That was every Game of Thrones and every other show that came out on like HBO, Stars, all those shows. Like Black Sails did the same thing. It was a solid show, but first season is nothing but like gratuitous sex scenes. The entire like it's like they won't watch this excellent TV show unless there are tits every two scenes.
I'll tell you something.
There's a
The books, they're mostly like, as far as like gratuitous stuff, like vivid, disgusting detail goes, you're gonna get descriptions of food. That's what you're gonna actually like. That's what it's gonna give the most of, as far as like Song of Ice and Fire.
It's fairly erotic in the books, actually, the way he describes food.
George Martin likes his food.
Yeah, that's probably pretty obvious. Me too.
I get so hungry reading it, dude. I'm just like, this guy's really good.
I don't even know what lemon contoured duck means, but I want it.
I want it really candied duck gravy, you know, like.
See, I'm the kind of person, I cannot read grimdark.
Yeah.
Not because I hate grimdark. I cannot read it because I am of a personality type that what I read affects my emotions and how I feel for days.
Yeah.
And so if I'm reading something that is just depressing and down, it will affect me for days. So that's
the worst named British food of all time. Thank you. Yes.
Bit of spotted dick.
Food. No wonder we started a revolution.
Yeah.
All right. But yeah, no, I understand that. I can read grimdark to a point, but it'll never be my favorite. Yeah. And it's like I think like I'll even read series like I mentioned, Red Rising favorite. It's very dark at points, but it's never grim dark. It never feels hopeless or nihilistic or pointless.
And that's the point. It's not that I can't take dark. I mean, I can handle dark. I've got an epic story in my head living that gets dark. I can't read stories that stay there.
Yeah.
So there's got to be a light. We've got to come through the dark on the other side. And this is just me personally. This is my own personal hang up. That's just, like I said, I'm of this particular personality type that it does affect me. So I have to be careful what I read there. But I mean, for instance, I actually read Robin Hood, the old classic Robin Hood. Loved it until the final chapter. Loved it till the final chapter. The final chapter killed me.
Doesn't he get captured and?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah,
he dies. And he doesn't just die. It's not die in glorious battle. He was wounded. Little John takes him to this nunnery. He becomes an outlaw again after King Richard dies. And he gets wounded, and he takes him in, and they bleed him. And she purposely bleeds him too deep to kill him because she knows there's a bounty on his head. And so before he dies, he fires an arrow and tells Little John to bury him wherever they
bury me where it lands. Yeah, there's an old painting about that.
I hated the ending of that story.
I was gonna say he's still an outlaw. The man is still a criminal.
Well, he wasn't a criminal. See, he was a criminal, and then he wasn't a criminal, and then he became a criminal
Then he
again.
was,
So,
yeah. So is he?
But yeah, I hated that
Yeah.
story. It's like, did you ever read the actual Man in the Iron Mask? The story, the movie. I read it after the
I
movie.
have not read the book yet, but I want to because that writer, like he wrote the Three Musketeers. He wrote that,
Mhm.
and then he wrote the Count of Monte Cristo. The man was
There was
a
a couple
legend.
other. There was a couple others. He actually
Yeah.
wrote several. The Man in the Iron Mask is the final story about the Three Musketeers, and in that book, 3 of the 4 die.
Wow,
As
that
old men.
sucks, dude.
Oh, it sucks.
Actually, thinking about it, the Count of Monte Cristo has a better ending in the movie than it does in the book as well.
and how most of them die is depressing as well. So
Yeah, like some of them was like, oh, well, this person was accidentally poisoned. I'm like, all right.
yeah,
Oh.
this person. Yeah, you get to the end and he's lost everything and now he dies his hopeless death. Oh, that's a great ending for a
Anyway, that
character
woman that I
hero.
loved, who I have a child with, well,
Yeah.
I'm not going to be with her. I'm going to be with this hot foreign girl that I raised, which is not weird at all. Thank you. We're going to continue the story this way. Like, what the?
He was French.
He was French. He was very
tremendously
French.
Let's say French at a particular era in French history.
Yes, he was. Very clear in those stories. I do, like some people call it blasphemous, but I do prefer. I don't know. I like the book, The Count of Monte Cristo, but the movie is better. But the book has things that the movies just could not have. Like the level of eccentricity in the book is way wilder than anything.
Yeah, I need to
even
reread
partially
the book.
like it in the film.
Well, let's put I read the Three Musketeers, so I read that as a at the time of my age, I think at the age group of where I was just starting to get old enough to start picking up on the innuendo that I would have never picked up on even a year before. Same thing with when I read the Canterbury Tales. You know, you're sitting here, and this is the funny part because I went to a Christian high school. We're in Christian literature class, and we're reading excerpts out of the Canterbury Tales, and I'm thinking, hey, this is fun. Maybe I'll like the rest of the book. And so I actually go get the book and I read the rest of the book. And my high school English teacher would not let me do a book report on it.
Wow, really?
Because the sheer amount of innuendo that's in that book.
You know, different times, but fair,
Yep.
very fair.
Yeah. Oh, come on! If you're gonna read that kind of story, go back and get the old stuff because they had this great flair for and turn of phrase that.
I do have a fondness for innuendo that's cleverly written. I do have a fondness for it.
Yeah, it's clever, which implies that it's smart, witty, which anybody can appreciate.
Shakespeare, for instance.
Yeah.
Go read some Shakespeare. He's got some great turns of phrases. That you he's talking about.
You know what we need more of in the modern written era? More epistolary novels. Like
I agree.
Written in letter form. I think there's some, like a lot of these old classics are written that way. And there's this weird, like an epistolary, a novel written partially or wholly that way can cheat. Because it's a written word, like letter from one person to another, it can play around with perspective in a way that a normal like third person limited or first person story cannot. And I think there's a lot of potential there that is underappreciated and not used in the modern day. I think there's a lot of potential there for.
And you're right. You're not the first person I've heard say that they'd like to see more of.
Nope, I am the first. No one has ever said this before. No.
Well, for example, they say first person can't be done effectively. Second person. That's what I'm thinking of. Second person.
Yes.
I think would epistolary be like an area where that would be a little bit easier? I'm trying to think here. There's so many perspectives. It's like
I don't think so because epistolary tends to be done first person or.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. I'm mixing it up.
Yeah. Second person, that second person is definitely
tricky.
something that's very, very, very few people can pull that one off.
It's tricky.
Because most people hate it when they're the ones who try.
Yeah.
Now, the genre that I miss is the third person omniscient. That seems to be really considered. That's really downplayed, looked down.
I don't love it. I know. I see the advantage. I don't
Yeah.
love it. I understand why it is gone,
Mhm.
but it is a shame that it is pretty much completely gone.
Yeah.
And that's probably because I did read a lot of the classics growing up. I read a lot of the classics growing up. I love the adventure classics.
Dune is very much like that.
You know, Kahuna, something about epistolary, an advantage to it is each letter can be a chapter, or each letter could be a different scene of a chapter.
And then, like, you can play it like the letter is written from one person to another, so you can
Yep.
say things in a way that a normal story couldn't. And then you could also have the person reacting internally to what they're reading and how they feel about it. There's a lot you can do there.
You want to know of a great epistolary style story that's fun to read? That's the people I don't know if people think about it. The Screw Tape letters.
Interesting.
The Screw Tape letters, it's really good.
But what's fun about it is it's basically the guy writing the letter is a demon.
Yep, it's a demon writing to his uncle.
Yeah,
who's also
he's
a demon.
writing to his boss, basically. That's who Screw Tape is. I mean, so it's.
Have you
done
ever read that,
style.
AC?
What? No, I haven't.
Have you read it? It's really interesting.
I did just get
really,
and it turns out C.S. Lewis does have a touch of humor. He could write some humor.
He had Santa Claus in his magical land where Jesus is a lion. Yeah, no, of course he has a sense of humor.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Screw Tape letters has some fun, humorous moments in it.
It weirdly enough, letters between two demons. Yes, it does have moments of humor you did not expect. Also, even in his naming, with C.S. Lewis, the horse and his boy. If you read it and don't think about it at all, you won't even catch it. But you're like, think about it for a second. The horse and his boy. Should be the boy and his horse, but it's I love that. I've always liked that.
Boy, yeah. It is interesting.
Unreliable narrate. Yeah, it does, because like in the reader can draw their own conclusions. They don't that's part of what made Frankenstein and Dracula so interesting, was because you're hearing about these things secondhand and you see the dark shape behind what's happening, but a lot of the people are kind of in denial about what's happening at first. And
Edgar Allan Poe, The Telltale Heart.
I still haven't read very much.
That's a guy telling what happened, what he did, and he's an unreliable narrator.
Yeah.
I mean, he tells you what happened, but he's trying to spin it on, well, I had to kill the guy.
Yep.
Or no, I like that a lot. We should AC. We should do a challenge. We should do a writing challenge for the Iron Seas maybe this winter. Maybe have a prize of some sort. I could put that together. But no, there's a lot of fun stuff.
I do have 2 copies of my book to give away, a hardcover and a paperback.
I have a very bad romance anime volume I could give away. No, I bought a whole bunch of volumes of manga just to read the first one, see if it was. One of them I will continue, and it was cute and interesting. It's 2 adults at a travel agency who their travel agency is going to send someone to live in Siberia, and bachelors or single people are first on the chopping block. And so she's like, what if we just pretend to be married so we don't have to go to freaking Siberia?
Yeah.
That's cute. That's a great one. I'm going to get by the next volume. But the other one, I'm like, oh, no, this just ain't working. It's it's supposed to be video game stuff. And I feel like the person who wrote it is into video games, but only mobile games, gotcha games, and Animal Crossing, not real games.
Interesting.
Yeah, I know lit RPG is a huge genre. It's not something I understand or that I can write, and probably because I'm not that big into gaming culture. So that's probably the reason why.
I'm not saying it can't be done, because
Bill, you dirty boy.
There's things that exist that are clear examples where it's tolerable, but man, I really don't. I don't know about just straight up superimposing all the video game logic into a story.
But it's hot. If you wanted to write a genre and you didn't want to, I mean, it's right now it's second to romance.
Yeah.
When it comes to sales, and it's the genre out lit RPG or.
Yeah, I
RPG
can't help but.
I've looked at it and I go, I am not a gamer. I'm not into this culture.
Exactly. That's what I was gonna say.
the closest I've come is a series that I am reading and following, and I wish the guy would hurry up and write the next book. It's been 3 years. Is a guy named Drew Hayes, and the first book is called NPCs, and it's a tongue-in-cheek. It's probably the closest I could get to game progression fic. It's about this set in a D&D style campaign. You've got 2 elements. You've got the NPCs in the game who don't know that their world is a game. And then you've got the real life players who are playing a game who think they're just playing a game and don't know that the world actually exists. And that what the decisions they make as a player affect, and their characters are living in the game world. They don't, and he's got 4 or 5 books out in the series. And
It can.
You can tell he's a D&D player.
Yeah.
It's clear.
You know, I have a weird one. I don't love that in novels, but I don't hate it in some Japanese media.
Mhm.
Maybe it's because of the non-serious nature of. I don't know. It's like in novel form, it feels like it can't decide whether it's either being too serious, which feels wrong, or it's not being serious enough, and it just doesn't work for me.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I was going to say
that NPC series he does a good job with. You could tell he knows how the game, and he doesn't take it super serious, but yet you fall in love with the characters anyway.
I was going to say 2 examples. They're kind of both sides of the same coin. Dark Souls and Neverending Story. So Neverending Story is very self-aware. It's not a video game, right? But it's like going in and out of a book, and it kind of has some of these same types of ideas going on where like, oh, there's like the reader and then the character, and then like they become aware of each other, and there's, you know, stuff affects other stuff with the Neverending Story. So it kind of has some of these similar ideas. I think it does it, you know, pretty well in a lot of regards, aside from a lot of the criticism that the movie got in a lot of ways. But Dark Souls is the opposite, where it's aware that it's a video game, but it doesn't make the consumer aware of that. Instead, it's like built into how the story is unfolding and the world itself. So like, you could very much write like a narrative in a Dark Souls universe and use all the same video game mechanics, but it actually makes sense narratively because like the currency is the souls, and you know that's kind of the meme in the background of Dark Souls is that you're the same character.
Hanging out.
You're the same character, and so like all the NPCs technically remember you each time you die. It's not actually like restarting. So that would be a good example where it it translates.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's just so many tropes that are out there, so many things that are out there that people can write, and like I said, there's so much they can do. And there's some things I can handle, some genres that I wouldn't mind dabbling in one of these days. Some genres, it's like I am more than willing and happy to support somebody who wants to write it and cheer them on and say more power to you. I hope you have a blast and find lots of readers, but I'm not going to be one of them, or at least I'm not going to be the first. That's not my genre. That's not my thing. So, but then again, I'm doing the same thing with Weird West. I'm going to try to write a genre that hardly anybody seems to do much with. So
we're over here with our own niches, like, oh, that's weird. Well, what are we writing? You know what I mean? And then meanwhile, I've seen other niche authors just
I find writing and reading. There seems to be a correlation with a lot of authors between what they like to read and what they like to write. Yeah. Not always, but it's fairly common.
Yeah.
I like to read quite a variety, so I have an interest in writing a variety of different things. But then there's also the case, like, because a lot of indie, it's like there's something they want to read and they can't find it, so it's like I'm going to write it.
I think that's a lot of where I'm at. I mean, there's not a lot out there that I'm interested in, and I've got ideas of things I'd love to see more of, and nobody's doing it these days. So I think that's where a lot of my ideas come from. Is I wish that I could get more of this. So I'll play with my own worlds in my own head, and we'll see if I can get some of them out on paper.
Well, God bless you.
Yep.
God bless you.
We'll see.
Godspeed.
I mean, I've got the benefit of I know I can't I'm not going to try to. This is not a living. I've got a full-time job. I got 2 full-time jobs if you count wrangling my husband. So, you know, I do not have the time or the ability to try to pursue writing full time, so it's going to be a hobby for me. But there's a freedom in that.
And you could
Yeah.
do that later at some point as
Yeah.
well. It's like
Yeah.
yeah. So everyone's like, oh, Tolkien didn't start writing Lord of the Rings till he was in his 40s. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah,
It's-
and he was
fair
working before.
point.
But there's also and there is the freedom in that because I can pursue things that I know are niche, but since I'm sitting here writing it for me and for fun, I'm not trying to make a living at it. You know, there's a reason why a lot of people who are trying to make a living at it do stick to these genres that are one because that's where the sales are at. They've got to write where the sales are at, and because that's how they're making their living. So if they can't sell a book, they're not going to eat. So they're not going to pay their rent. So they have to write what's out there and build that audience up, and that's why romance. There's so many romance authors out there, but there is the freedom as a hobby writer that I would have to be able to pursue those things that aren't necessarily going to make a ton of money, but if I can find a few people who enjoy it and make a few people happy along with myself, then that's the whole goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got to take off. Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
It is late. We can do our final plugs and then take off.
Okay,
It's
final
been a good
plugs.
show. Almost 3 hours.
Yeah. I was just gonna say I just make what I want to hear and consume and read and stuff, but that kind of narrows my lens, so to speak, because of that. Makes us niche authors, and so my solution for that is just casting different nets. So I got comics and music. Speaking of which, go ahead and like my band Empty My Lungs on Facebook and subscribe to the YouTube. There's going to be
every dollar empties a little more out of his lungs.
Yes, there's going to be a brand new song coming down the tailpipe right at you. It's called Purgatory. I named it today. The name of the song is officially Purgatory. And a little heavier, a little angrier. It's been kind of an angry time, angry last couple months. So I think we all like a good fight song. That'd be like 2 fight songs in a row for me. So maybe I should soften it up for the next one. But yeah, also got this other comic in the works in the background, set in RK.
Memory of Mortality, is that the one you're?
No, this is a brand new one, Street Fighter themed. So,
that one, yeah.
So that's basically a very simple story set in RK. So it'll progress some world building stuff in the background, but it very much will just be like a comic where it's like fighting, like DBZ, right? Like, so yeah, I'm here for it. I'm ready. Aside from that, we got Goodwill Hunting next week with Carol Brown. And Ernest Scared Stupid the week after that.
Oh man,
that's what I haven't seen in a long time.
Flip City Magazine that week. So.
Ernest, why? All right, I'll watch it, I guess. Bambo.
All right. So this is the first book that I was published in. My story is When Devils Dance in the Pale Moonlight. It's Weird West Wrangler. You can find it on Amazon.
What's Clint Eastwood doing on that cover?
Like I said, I had no say over the cover of this book.
I know.
But I will say don't judge this book by the cover. The stories are a lot better than the cover looks. The stories are excellent. So Weird Werewolf Wrangler. There's actually 2 stories. She's got 2 anthologies out. There's 2 volumes. This is volume 2. So that's the first one. The second one, this is Racketeer Press, is Weird West Rawhide Revenants. This is their 3rd Weird West anthology that they're out. I got into the 3rd one.
Is that a Victorian elf? Is that what I'm seeing?
Sort of along those lines. So well, not really. I think she's human on this one, but she's petting a dragon. So if you're interested in want to see West taken in weird directions, both of those, like I said, Racketeer Press, I can highly recommend most of their anthologies. They're on Amazon. Look them up. RACONTEUR, Racketeer Press.
Sweet. That'll be a blast.
Amazing.
There. You can also, if you look, it will take you to it. It should take you to that novel. I'm listed on it, so you can find them that way too. My 3rd one, I don't have the book with me. It's in their Blades and Black Magic anthology. That's my attempt at sword and sorcery. So if you want to get a handle of what writing was deemed that I put out there that was deemed publishable by a publisher, those 3 are what's out there right now. Otherwise, you guys put up my Substack earlier. I've got I got a couple of longer form stories, and then a bunch of flash fiction on there as well. I got a couple more stories I want to dump onto there. My own train of thought, I call it my ducks and marbles session, where I talk about day-to-day life, such as wrangling 14 chickens and 4 of them are roosters. And
That's a lot of roosters.
Oh, it was not my choice. They were supposed to have been 1 rooster for every 10 hens, and we got 5 roosters and 13.
Ouch.
So 1 rooster has already been sent to the stew pot, and yes, I did it to see if I could.
Delicious.
I got 3 more that no. Actually, he wasn't. He was delicious, but he wasn't very meaty.
Skinny.
My attempt at being a pioneer wife. I did it. I can say I did it, but otherwise, that's Substacks where I kind of hang out. Let's keep an eye out. I try to keep it. I try to put a few stories up there every now and then to keep my writing chops moving, and then we shall see. 2026. I'm hoping to move into maybe try to start a novel. We'll see. I got a lot of sewing projects to do because MD and I have just this week signed the contract for a booth at Big Lick Comic Con in Roanoke, Virginia, coming February the 7th and 8th, I think, is the weekend this year. We've been there before. We'll go to sell his books, and then I make stuffed animals to sell as well on the table. So
yeah, you show me pictures. They're cute.
Yeah. So if you're around the Roanoke, Virginia area in February this year, come look us up. We'll have a booth there with his books, my books. You can get signed copies, my stuffed animals, and you can come meet this weirdness in person.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being on the show. For me,
welcome.
What do I got? I've been got a lot of manga stuff in the pipe, a lot of anime stuff in the pipe, and for my own channel, as well as just fun family videos and humor stuff. But for Iron Seas, I'm almost done editing the morning milking farm clip where they made me read a page or 2 of it on stream. I have visuals. That's what I'm saying. It's way worse than it sounds, and
it'll give everybody visual.
It's very, very funny. And like, because I'm reading it, I read it live. They were all laughing in the background, and it's gonna be very funny. Look forward to that in the next 2 days. I'll post it. It'll be great. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us here aboard on the Iron Seas. See you every Tuesday at 6:30 PST. See you schmeckers there. Woo!